Hello everyone and welcome to not quite the day of German Unity, is it? The day of German Unity is tomorrow, some of you might have perhaps noticed, but since we would rather not be spending our weekend in the office, how about we do a stream today? So lads, welcome back to the official War Thunder streams. My name is MikeGoesBoom. You might know me as a long-time content creator for War Thunder, and I am joined by the amazing Tom, aka Oxy.
Hello, I'm here also.
Yes, he is present, as you can see. Oxy, what are we doing today for the special little stream?
Well, we thought given it was the day of German Unity tomorrow, we might as well play some of the vehicles that are on offer on the sale that's upcoming at the moment for German Unity Day. There's a fair few packs on sale, as well as a certain rare vehicle as well, so we'll hopefully be able to show you guys those vehicles working pretty well, hopefully. So.
Indeed, as you can see, we have a special little vehicle on the screen that doesn't really look German, does it? This right here is Hermann, the German Sherman. Hermann, the German Sherman, is actually the first Sherman to ever come into the game.
Yeah, it was.
This was the original closed beta test for Ground Forces premium vehicle for the German tech tree. Back when we only had the Soviet tech tree and the German tech tree, you could buy this and you could have some fun. And, well, it actually came back today. I believe it is still currently on sale. I'm not sure how many are left. It is a limited sale, but this is still available right now. And we thought, hey, why don't we play it out? But we have a few different things that we can do. So we have a lineup with the Hermann German Sherman. We have ourselves a lineup with the D13, the Fokker 190 D13 and 5.3 Germany in general. This one is quite nice. This is also one of the vehicles you can get now on sale. We have ourselves the Prinz Eugen also on sale. And for this one, I will definitely need the help of Tom, because I will admit it. I am not a great naval player. I'm quite alright. I'm quite alright when it comes to tanks and when it comes to aircraft, but I don't like getting my feet wet. Let's just say that. What else do we have? We also have the 6.7 lineup, the Verabus Dream. We have the Tiger 2 SLA-16 with the diesel engine, and a few other vehicles here that we can play out and hopefully do pretty well in.
Yeah.
You might see a little lineup here called Mini Tiger. What is this? It is probably one of the most fun vehicles you can have in War Thunder. This is the Panzer Selbstfahrlafette 1C, or was it actually previously known, the Panzer 2H, as some of you might know. The name was renamed, but it's still the same and fun vehicle. We have also the Dakar lineup. We have ourselves the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 140-1, which honestly is one of the most fun low-tier vehicles you can have.
Yeah, it's really beginner friendly. It's got a lot of decent qualities a low-tier vehicle should have. It's ease of use. Even if you miss with the first shot, you've got a lot more in the burst. So for beginner vehicles, it's easily one of the best. Decently armored, crew are fairly well spaced out in terms of the turret for what it is. Yeah, it's a good little vehicle, and I believe this one is as well on discount for Unity Day. So
it is. In fact, you can pick this up for only, I think, just over €4 to get it with some premium time and golden eggs. Like, this one is actually really, really worth it. Like, not even trying to shill out here. This is actually a really good pack to get. And finally, we have ourselves the Leopard A1L44. Also a special little boy over here. Now, let's see. We are going to be doing something a little bit differently today. We still have our YouTube and our Twitch stream up. On YouTube, you can get the best quality for stream that you can get. We are streaming at 1440p, 60 FPS. It is going to get as crisp as it will possibly ever get. But Twitch is the place where you want to be if you want a bit more interactivity. We're going to be reading the chat. We might even let the chat decide one match that we play.
Perhaps.
How about that? Perhaps. So, have some ideas of what you want to see, perhaps for the end of the stream. Some kind of lineup, some kind of vehicle. And we will see what you do. Snazzy Desi says, their voice is so hot. Is that so?
Oh, don't do the thing.
Yes, but I have to do the thing. See, these microphones are really nice because you can get up right up next to them and they give you an amazing, amazing voice. You don't want to know what the setup looks behind the camera. Trust me, it's a cable mess. But for this voice, very much worth it.
I can hear it so loud in my headphones as well. Oh.
Well, I can hear you too. And it's very, very nice. See, Tom has that really sultry British voice that I just, I love it.
You say salty or sultry?
Well, a bit of both. I mean, we are War Thunder players after all, aren't we?
We are, technically, I'd say.
We are. So, how about we actually prove that? How about we go into a game? Oxy, I am going to invite you into our squad, and we shall play our first game of today. And I believe we should start out pretty chill, pretty early. We have Herman, the German Sherman. We're going to start out as 4.0, and we're going to see how it really works out. We have a few backups, a very German KV-1B. This is the Finnish KV-1B, which is absolutely amazing in this lineup. With the Panzer 4G, sadly without side skirts, because the side skirts version of the Panzer 4H is 4.3, which makes me very sad. We got the Verbal Wind, we got the Parkwagen, we got a lot of things to play. So, how about without further ado, let's go, shall we?
Let's play video games.
Yes, video games are good. Video games are fun. Play more video games, kids. Don't go into school. Look where that brought us.
Don't tell them that.
Oh, I see the Fabix on Twitch asking, Tom, where is the egg?
Oh, not the egg again. I was really hoping everyone had forgotten about the egg, and now the eggs are back.
You thought they forgot. Twitch chat doesn't forget it easily.
I wish they would.
All right, lads, we are into a match. Battle for Hütgen Forest, and we are actually in a full down tier. This could be interesting.
Could be.
This could be really interesting. Now, my ammo selection is completely all over the place, but it shall be fine.
Yep, mine too, really. So, let's see what we can do. I haven't played this map for a while, actually.
This map is a bit awkward for me at times. I mean, you have different versions of game modes on this map that happen like all over the place. You have another version where you have a capture zone in the middle of the river down the south side that is currently inaccessible from here. In this particular version of the map, Usually you can go towards the north side, towards the hill, and try to side jump some people from there. You could try and go towards the south side over there with the forest and stuff. But I like to play it a bit more aggressively. I like to play it close. I like to do some close quarter combat. I like to go through the middle of the houses and see what I can do. Especially because the Shermans, which this is, has a low speed stabilizer. Do you happen to know how that exactly works?
No, I do not. But I know in the game how it works functionally is that I believe it's been buffed. I can't remember exactly I want to say sort of 22 kilometers an hour. Maybe.
Roughly about 20 kilometers per hour, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a stabilizer that kicks in at that speed and below. Above that, it acts like a normal gun. It will bounce around, but when you go to the lower speeds, and especially when slowing down, the gun is entirely stable, which is incredibly useful, especially for these lower tier matches where these vehicles are some of the only vehicles that are stabilized. At least, well, pseudo-stabilized, even in the half sense.
This early on, yes.
Really,
look at
really
this.
Good.
I'm currently, you can go into cruise control mode 1, which keeps you at a nice and steady 18 kilometers per hour, which, you know, is a decent speed for cruising around at least. And your gun sight is completely rock solid. It is very nice.
Yeah, very, very good. And this vehicle itself is even, well, the American one is one of my favorite vehicles of all time. It just has everything, really. Like, something I've always quite obnoxiously said is that the Shermans are tanks, if you kind of get what I mean. In that they're a vehicle that basically will do everything. Like, the firepower is decent enough, the armor's decent enough, the mobility is decent enough. They have just enough versatility to be applicable in almost every role, give or take. Maybe sniping with them isn't quite the best, but depending on battle rating, it can do really, really well, and I really love the Shermans.
I mean, it is pretty much just imitating life at that point. The Sherman in real life was also used in every single theater of the war. This was a very, very versatile platform.
Yeah. Pretty much the workhorse of a lot of, well, divisions, that kind of thing. It had loads of versatility. You could put lots of guns on it as well. 105, 75, 76, whatever you like. Even 90, I think, as well.
I do quite like the 105mm versions. They are really, really quite nice.
Yeah, really good, especially for the lower tiers. Like, it's pretty fun. I mean, they're quite easy to outplay with some good map knowledge and positioning, but, I mean, in the right situation, on the right map, like close range, they can do incredibly well.
Tom, I just got one shot from the side. Keep an eye out, there is a M4 Sherman in the field somewhere. He's on the far side behind the houses. Keep an eye out on that.
Okie-dokie, Chief. I will do.
We have some comments. Nazi Desi again. What are your thoughts on having headlights and taillights working in War Thunder? See, it would be nice in terms of immersion, is what I would say. But honestly, I don't think it would really be that useful. Keep in mind, we kind of have something like that already in the game with the infrared spotlights, which allow you to illuminate an area for your infrared night vision devices. But they are also very visible to the enemy. And spotlights would be pretty much the same. I mean, sure, you might be able to see a bit further, but you would also get immediately shot by 50 different tanks.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, functionally, they don't have a huge amount of use, but I think aesthetically, you know, it can be pretty sweet. Maybe for custom battles or making cinematics, it'd be nice to have them on. But yeah, functionally, in-game, they wouldn't do a huge amount to aid in gameplay, and really all it would do is make you more visible. But aesthetically, could be kind of cool. I'd like to see that, especially landing lights for aircraft. That could be really cinematic. Also, landing lights on the runways themselves could be nice for night battles too, especially if it's simulated, trying to find the runway at night.
Now, I am quite particular with that, because I really like playing some custom battles just for the fun, without really having to take the game too seriously. And headlights could actually be really nice for that. Imagine a zombie mode, one single tank with headlights in a night battle against 63. What would be the tank equivalent of a PO2, actually? AC-57, maybe? The L3, the L333, that little Italian tankette.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Imagine that. Sweet. One mouse versus 63 L33s. Night battle. That's the kind of stuff I really like to do in my off time. When I'm when I'm just not really bothered about going through the progression, I just like having some fun, and custom battles are really the way to do that.
Yeah, they're kind of an underrated area of the game, like especially if you want to unwind or just play a vehicle you like. It's a great place that's kind of chill. Hang out with people, like, make some friends, you know, it's pretty good for that. You often find some quite like-minded people in those areas.
We have a comment from Panzer of the Lake on the Twitch chat asking, Mike, what is your favorite flight joystick? See, I am not much of a sim player myself, but I have a little bit of experience with joysticks. And out of the two I had so far, the one I preferred the most was the Thrustmaster T16000M, not really being a shill here in this case, but it is actually a joystick that is really, really good and quite good for getting into War Thunder simulator battles. Of course, War Thunder has the advantage that you don't need a flight stick to actually be able to play simulator mode. So you can just use your mouse and your keyboard, perfectly fine. May not be the most efficient way, of course, and may not be the most immersive way, but you can do it. And when you get a joystick, it's just that much better, really.
Yeah, pretty decent. I've never really got into the joysticks that much, mainly because I've never owned a desk that could accommodate a joystick. But yeah, the mouse aim, at least for the most part, works decently enough. But yeah, playing it with a joystick is a hugely improved experience in terms of actual immersion, and if you have the head tracking as well, it's great. I've got a lot of friends who play sim, especially in aircraft, and it's really immersive and really, really fun. But I couldn't really give a recommendation on a joystick because I've never really owned one. But yeah, it's a really good experience. And I wish
Tom, you know what we need to do?
Mm-hmm.
We need to set up challenge modes. We need to set it up so that the chat can actually challenge us to do stuff like trying to play tanks with joysticks.
God,
Chat, what do you think? Would there be something interesting to see? Us trying to some silly things with hardware that was definitely not meant to be used that way. Playing a tank with a wheel.
Actually
Playing a ship with a joystick. All that good stuff.
I think I've still got the wheel for Crazy Taxi somewhere in my old flat. I could totally drag that out.
We should make a video about how to play top tier with the Guitar Hero guitar.
Should we?
No, it would be a terrible idea, but it would be very entertaining.
I could think of few things worse. It could be funny, so it's got that going for it.
See, here's how you see all the play experience that Tom has, because he's still alive in his German Sherman. I've just been rolling around, not even shooting anything. Look at him! Look at this guy! He's just hogging all the kills, hogging all the spotlight.
I certainly can point and click adequately enough.
What are you going to do next? Expose eggs?
No, stop the eggs again. The eggs again. We can. It would be so great to just ignore the eggs entirely and just pretend they don't exist, because eggs have ruined my life.
You heard it. You heard it, guys. Don't mention eggs.
No, I mean don't. That's like telling a bully, "I'll wee if you tickle me."
I know.
They will just immediately go for it.
I know. Maybe it's intentional.
No. This is the worst day.
It'll be fine, Comet. It'll be fine. Just wait until we get to vehicles like the Kugelblitz.
Oh no! He thinks the Kugelblitz looks like an egg. I never saw it before today, and now I can't stop seeing
tell
an
me. The Kugelblitz. You know the Kugelblitz, that German SBAA with 30mm cannons that has like a rounded turret?
Don't agree.
Tell me that does not look like an egg.
It doesn't. Don't agree with him. I'll never hear the end of it.
Okay, I want to see something in the chat. I want to see hashtag Team Oxy, hashtag Team Mike. Do you agree that the Kugelblitz is an egg? Do we want to make Tom play the Kugelblitz exclusively for the rest of the stream?
No, we don't. We don't want to do that.
Or do we? Well, keep in mind, we might actually ask the chat to play a certain vehicle at the end of the stream, so Kugelblitz is an option.
I suppose.
I'm just saying, or maybe some other elongated vehicles.
Oh, my gallstones have come at
Oh
once.
boy, that was a close bomb. Are you doing okay, Oxy?
Yeah, I'm fine. Engine's a bit tickled, but apart from that...
I will come to your rescue, I would say, if I wasn't getting shot.
Such is life.
Actually, I see a window. Or I can just get this driver from here. Now, can I actually kill him before he is able to get out, is the question.
What is it?
I think it's an M22, yeah, it's an M22. You got killed by the aircraft there, very good. I think that was actually the F1 with the 15mm cannon.
Which one's that?
The BF-49 F1 that has the 15mm cannon with the submarine cores.
Oh yeah, I think it's the F2 off the top of my head, but it might not be. But yeah,
it might be the F2 actually, yeah.
That one's really underrated.
It really is. I mean, people look at 15mm versus 20mm and automatically assume that the 20mm would be better because you're going to have both options on that plane. But the 15mm does have the advantage of higher penetration, which is quite useful in GFRB.
Yeah, with the cement core rounds, I think it can penetrate 45mm max, which is really, really good, especially for getting through the armored plates on aircraft. It's really, really underrated.
We have a question from the Twitch chat. Kandarek asks, question for the both of you. A lot of people are asking for the Panzer Freeze. Oh, God. Oh. You okay? KD, no, you're not.
KD destroyed.
KD. My KD. What? You know, I think I'm just going to play the classical German Panzer and just sit in ambush, yes?
Yeah, go for it.
It's not because I'm scared because I have no teammates left around me. This is definitely not the case. I'm just playing very tactical, yes.
Yes, very
okay,
tactical.
back to the question. People are asking for the Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs roof-mounted MGs. What is your opinion on that? Now, we did actually have a recent update that did bring roof-mounted MGs to a lot of German vehicles, namely the Tigers. I believe the Jagdtiger might have gotten one.
I don't think the Jagdtiger did.
Okay, the Jagdtiger might not have gotten one. Keep in mind, German TDs at the time had a weird obsession with not having any defenses against infantry, which was not very effective, to say the least. But yeah, I would like to see that. I mean, roof-mounted MGs look nice. They look very nice, especially on vehicles like the Panzer IV. This one, which already has very thick tracks. I would very much like a bit of added bits and bobs to just decorate the tank a bit more. That's... oh, God, ow.
Or loud.
That hurt. That hurt a lot.
Oh, bless you, dear. Right. I think we should be good for this game from the looks of it. Got decent map control. Let's see.
Oxy, I have a question for you specifically.
Ooh. Oh.
Woodruff42 on Twitch asks, Oxy, how do you like Germany so far?
Yeah, I really like Germany. It's although the thing I always say to people when I get asked that is it's way warmer than I thought it was. Like, I always expected Germany to be kind of grey, but it's like, whenever I've checked, exactly 10 degrees hotter in Germany than it was in the UK. So it's like, I bought loads of really warm clothes and I've just been boiling the whole time. Like, I basically just own jumpers. So it's an absolute nightmare.
Well, to be fair, we are in one of the hottest areas in Germany right now. So
yeah.
The rest of the country, generally speaking, is not that hot. I can speak from experience here. I was originally born in Maasberg, and I moved to Cologne when I was young, before moving back to Portugal. And it's definitely not as warm as here. I mean, we had 36 degrees Celsius weather about a month ago. It was way too hot even for myself.
Yep. It was a very, very fun time. I remember that fondly.
Then again, yeah, Tom, I mean, you have a very interesting taste in weather, don't you? For you, 10 degrees, raining is pretty much ideal weather.
Yeah, like, I like it when it's kind of grim. It reminds me of home. Just kind of grey and miserable. It's like, that's fine. 9 degrees, yes please, that's my motto.
Grey and miserable, the very homely feeling.
Yeah, like genuinely, that sounds like a diss, but it's not. I kind of like it when it's grey. You know, looking outside to the sea, all rough and stuff, it's like, yeah, this is home. This is quintessential English weather. My favourite. Oh man. At least it's slightly getting a bit colder now and I'm not, you know, boiling the whole time. Like, this is one of the only t-shirts I own. Everything else is just incredibly woolen. It's a nightmare.
Yes, we are actually currently moving into a flat share together, and I can confirm that Tom is never wearing clothes at home.
Don't tell him that. Now they know.
Well, ladies, now you know. The Gaijin Christmas calendar will be coming soon, TM.
Oh. I mean, and we definitely could. We definitely shouldn't as well at the same time. Right, my plane is giving up. I will return to the battlefield. No, that's the wrong word. Turn to the airfield. The other field.
Zoe Fryer on Twitch asks, I'd love to see either of you attempt to fly a plane on the Xbox One with the controller. See, that could actually be interesting because I myself, I've never actually played the game on console. Like, the last console I owned was a PS3. Then I switched to the glorious PC Master Race. But it's been really a while since I even tried a console. The closest I have to controller experience is playing racing games on the PC with an Xbox controller. But I wouldn't even know where to start with trying to play Xbox on a racing. Oh god, I'm currently being chased. This is... I got a hole in my tail!
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yes. Totally not related to holes in other places. Namely, left wings. Or, actually, I do have a hole in
the left wing.
I have multiple holes in my left wing.
Dude, that's the Did you just come up with that just now?
Yes.
Did you just come up with that meme just now?
I think we should really turn it into a community meme, shouldn't we?
Yeah, dude, that's the
We
funniest
should put
thing
it on
I've
a
ever
t-shirt.
heard. I've never heard anything funnier than that.
I know,
Hole
right?
in the left wing.
I know, right?
Dude.
It's a completely original idea. Completely original idea.
You can't see on the outside, but on the inside, I'm screaming with laughter.
Very convincing indeed. Foxy Vimo asks, any tips for playing low-tier RB? Low-tier RB? Well, it depends really a bit on what kind of nation and gameplay style you are going for. I mean, each nation has a slight difference in what they're really strong at and weak at in like a general sense. Stuff like, for example, the Americans, they, especially at the low tiers, they don't have much in terms of APHE, but they tend to have 50 cals pretty early on, which can shrek some light-skinned vehicles, and they tend to have some low-speed stabilizers, which make them quite reactive. You have the German vehicles, which have the 20mm autocannons early on in the Panzer IIs, which are quite potent once you get the HVAP shells, but generally speaking also don't have much in terms of armor until you get to the Tiger 1 levels, for example. This is if you disregard the Finnish KV-1B, which is not going to be easily accessible to most people, really.
Yeah,
so
for the low tier is what I've always said to anyone in terms of asking for advice, or if you're a newer player, don't just play one nation. If you can, play all the nations, see what you like. I mean, they all play reasonably differently. I don't really subscribe to the idea that every nation can be summarized in like a few sentences, like German vehicles are slow with good guns, or Russian vehicles have good penetration, no, bad penetration, but good damage. British vehicles are existing. I never really subscribe to that idea. I think it's every vehicle in itself is unique for the most part in terms of actually how it plays. So every nation has a lot to offer, basically. So I think if you're a newer player, you should try every tier 1 vehicle, or at least every tier 1 vehicle that seems interesting to you, just to see how everyone plays. You know, have a look down the trees, see what might interest you. And as well, the advantage of playing through every tree at a sort of steady pace is that you are more accustomed to the vehicles you fight as well. So if you come up against a tank, you're likely going to know what that tank is, and from playing it yourself, you'll know what the strengths and weaknesses are. So really, if you have the time and to dedicate, that's what I do. I play every single tree, play different vehicles, and really, for me, that's where I've had the most enjoyment with the game, just playing everything you can. So if you're new, that's what I do. Don't just stick to one nation, spread it out, play lots of different stuff, and work out what it really is you enjoy.
See, the last point you touched on is actually very, very true, and I very much agree. People, I think the average player often gets so focused on a single tree that they think that every other tree is better. You often see that. You often see complaints about, oh, I'm playing Germany and Russia is way better than Germany, please nerf, Germany suffers. But the thing is, if you actually invest the time into playing every nation, at least trying out every nation, into trying out the vehicles that generally tend to kill you, you get a sense of what their strengths and weaknesses are. And you can really use that in multitudes of ways. You can use that when you are playing one vehicle to exploit the weaknesses of another vehicle you're facing, or when you're playing your own vehicle, you can play to your own strengths. It's probably the best way to learn how to play very well in Warframe. It's the best way to gain and advance your skill level, really, is to just try a bit of everything. Don't be stuck with just one tree. Try really a bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's the case with lots of games, I guess, with progression similar to War Thunder. I mean, if you're going down one tech tree, you might maybe get a bit bored of what you're playing. Maybe it's time to change up a bit. Play, you know, maybe even a different branch. Maybe play aircraft. If you're a tanker, maybe try naval out. You know, there's so many different avenues for this game, and that's really, I think, why I enjoy this game so much. And I have an embarrassingly high number of battles played and hours played and years.
Should we tell them?
No, don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't tell them.
Okay, let's do it like this. We're not going to tell the chat, but we're going to try and see if chat can maybe guess.
Don't.
This is going to be a challenge to the chat. Can you figure out how much playtime Oxy has on his main account?
Don't do that.
Keep in mind, Oxy, if you don't know him, he is Oxy on YouTube. He is the one who has made guides on almost every single vehicle in the game, every single tech tree in the game, and at one point he had every single vehicle in the game.
I did add every single vehicle spaded a while ago now, because there's lots of different top tier vehicles added, and I haven't really had the chance to go through and spade those yet. But I did at one point have absolutely everything spaded. Yeah, it was a very good time in my life. No, it was really.
Can we get an F in chat?
No, we can't. No Fs required, please.
Oh, by the way, guys, you might not notice this, but we do have a double stream setup, and you can actually decide. You can actually see which POV you're currently looking at the top left corner of the screen. So right now, this is the view from my PC, my hangar, and this is the view from Oxy's PC, Oxy's hangar. On the top left, you have the test indicating which POV is currently active, so you can see who is playing terribly, aka me for the most part. But since I am the one in the controls of on the controls of the stream controls, I can just mask my embarrassments by just clicking away from my screen, showing Oxy being all legendary and getting all those kill streaks, and then I can just switch to this screen when we are both being embarrassed. Yes. We are professional esports players. Don't worry. Don't worry.
What a sentence that is.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Right, Oxy, what should we actually play next? I think we should try something that flies. What do you think?
We certainly could. What are you thinking? MikeGoesBoom.
See, one of the vehicles that is actually currently on offer, which is a quite interesting one, yet one that I really don't master all that well, is die Focke-Wulf 190 D13.
Excuse me?
Yes, thank you. Bless you. Bless me. Yes.
I think my brain switched off and it's like, oh, I'm suddenly in German. What's going on here? Like the subtitles of my brain changed and I didn't notice. Yes.
Oh, that's actually good. Maybe you're starting to think in German, are you?
I mean, the only words I know are I.
I, in German, means egg.
No. It's the only one I've managed to remember because it's the only one thrust at me constantly. Oh.
See, I'm telling you, he says he doesn't like it, but he keeps on thinking about it.
No, I can't. It's just one of those things, like when you try not to think of something, you think about it. And so it's just eggs all the time, constantly, all the time. When I look at you, I see egg. When I look in the fridge, egg, because you bought eggs. And then there was an egg in the sink for a reason that I can't remember. Why did you put an egg in the sink yesterday? Because I can't remember. I just remember it in my memory of there being an egg there. And just thinking, this is not right. Something is amiss here.
To give you a bit of context, we actually legitimately moved into a flat share together, and I bought some eggs yesterday that were broken.
Oh, that's why, yeah. Forgot about that.
Makes me very sad. Very, very sad.
Makes me very happy. I'm going to have my Tumbler energy drink now.
Your Tumbler energy drink?
Yeah, we went to the Woolworths a while ago, and I just thought, this looks weird. It's just an energy drink with a cat on it, and it says, she comes from planet Meow to save the universe. Obviously not. That's a lie, for the starters. Starring and featuring Berry and this is the worst can of drink I've ever seen. It's going to taste like kerosene and Red Bull. I'm convinced. Let's see. That just tastes like the bin. That tastes like plastic to me.
Bin juice. Delicious.
So, I mean, it would boost your immune system, but this is horrible. This is like drinking a plastic bag.
I might have done a slight mistake here.
What did you do, MikeGoesBoom?
See, I wanted to go to an RRB match, but it seems like we are playing GFRB.
Yes.
But here's the thing, this isn't actually that bad, because we all know German players. They like their Panzers. But I have one that is quite rare. The VK4501P. This is the Porsche prototype of the Tiger 1 proposal. And this one has a very specific use case. See, driving these from the front, it's actually not that good. It's actually worse than the regular Tiger 1. Simply because you can't really angle this vehicle because you have angled plates over there, which are actually weaker than the front plates. And you're generally speaking, well, are quite a bit of a chonker. You're a large boy. However, you can drive this thing backwards. If you happen to know the Merkava tank, which actually was recently, I believe the event is still going on right now, you can still get yourself a Merkava Mark 3D. We also have the Merkava 1 and the Merkava 2 in the game. The whole thinking behind that vehicle is to shield the crew by putting engines, armor plates, fuel tanks, transmissions, everything in the front to absorb any incoming shells. See, you can turn the Porsche Tiger into a Merkava.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. I mean, you can see it in the X-ray. We have 2 engines. We have apparently 2 transmissions. We have fuel tanks everywhere. We have a giant transmission tunnel in the back. This thing will absorb quite a bit of damage so long as the enemy doesn't go for the turret, which they actually might, given that we are in a full up tier. But also, even in a full up tier, this thing can actually do pretty well.
I mean, we're at 7-0 right now.
We are at 7-0, actually? Oh, we apparently are. Well, Oxy is bringing out his Jagdtiger, so let's see what he can do. In the meantime, let's see some more chat over here. Twitch, Depends Shift on Twitch asks, question for Mike and Oxy, what hardware is inside current builds and would you recommend them for War Thunder? So we are currently using streaming PCs that were sponsored by Intel. Thank you very much, by the way. No shield. Yes.
Bless up.
We are using Intel sponsored PCs which have Core i7s and a 2080 Ti, which was one of the most powerful graphics cards you could get at the time. But now there's an even better one, which is way too expensive. I'm very sad about that. I would say this might be slightly overkill for your general War Thunder player. Keep in mind, War Thunder is actually pretty well optimized. You can play this on pretty much any system. Like, you can probably program a toaster to play War Thunder. You might not get the best visual experience out of it, but it's possible.
Is it?
Actually, you know what? That could be an interesting challenge. You know how people try to... Oh, that's a T-34. Nope. You know how people try to make the original Doom work on all kinds of silly things? What if someone could program War Thunder to work on a fridge?
I mean, to me, I would just buy a laptop. I mean, the fridge is for...
No, but think of the gamer potential.
The gamer potential.
Think of the gamer potential. You could get yourself a Mountain Dew whilst playing War Thunder.
I mean, you can do that now. Just have one on your desk.
Yes, but it would be quicker.
Would it?
Also, the T-34 completely messed up. Holy crap. How's it over there?
It's not bad. You're just having a nice time in the field. Seeing the sights. Not much else going on. Apart from... Oh, I need to finish this.
Finish this.
I don't like waste, but it tastes like a plastic bag, just in, like, liquid form.
Snazzy Dazzy asks, how do you do the dual stream? It seems really smooth transitions. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We currently are using two PCs, so each one of us has their own PC, and we're actually using a capture card to capture the gameplay from one PC, to transmit it to the main PC, where we have all the streaming controls, and then we actually have double encoding. So not only do we have dual POVs for the streams, we actually have two different encodings. We have the YouTube encoding, which is currently rolling at 1440p at the highest quality pretty much you can really do, except for 4K, but honestly, bandwidth might be a bit of an issue at that case. So YouTube is definitely the place you want to be if you just want to have the highest quality stream, if you want to see every single pixel of German tanks, yes. And we have the 1080p stream for Twitch, which is where we're actually getting our most interactivity. So you guys can choose between quality, between interactivity. You can see both gameplays. This is a very advanced stream, which did totally not take us 3 weeks to set up. It was a nightmare.
What a merry time it was.
Oh boy. Like seriously, when I mentioned before that you do not want to see what this streaming setup looks like behind the webcam, I meant it. We have so many cables.
Yep, it's certainly a time. It's certainly a time.
Chocolate Fudge Cake on Twitch asks, is the Dora a good aircraft? My friend tells me not to get it, but I already got the Eugen and Diesel Tiger, so it only costs 15 euros. How about we actually play the next? I mean, there was an original plan. We wanted to play out the D13, but it kind of didn't work out because I am dumb. So we're going to try and play it out next, and we're going to actually see how it works. How about that?
Yeah, I'll play it for a bit of, well, not really close air support because I don't have any bombs, but I will play it in this battle.
Ooh, actually, yeah. See, Tom is thinking way ahead. Tom just read your minds and we brought out his 190 D13.
Yes.
Which I actually quite like using GFRB because it can actually bring a 500 kilogram bomb, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it can. It's decently versatile like that. I mean, it's not really amazing in terms of maneuverability, especially for these low altitude fights that you usually get in ground forces. But as a vehicle, it's decently powerful in aircraft battles themselves, and you do have a bomb for the ground forces, and that 500 kilogram bomb is usually enough to do a fair bit of work. And it can, I believe as well, simultaneously carry 4 50 kilogram bombs on the wings, so you can potentially, if you're very, very good with the bombs, get another kill there as well. So what it is, pretty decent, and this is one of the first premiums I think I remember playing back like 8 years ago, or whenever it was I first started playing. Very, very long time ago. So yeah, decent one. One of the nicest.
I do not really like the 50 kilogram bombs. I don't know why. I just could never get those small size bombs to work. I'm more of a thick boy kind of guy.
More of a thick boy kind of guy.
Yes, in fact, it's what I'm doing right now. I brought myself the 500 kilogram bomb on my D13. We have quite a bit of air support, which might actually be a bad thing at this point. We have more air support than we have actual tanks on the ground. And planes aren't exactly effective at keeping map control, especially when it comes to caps. So let's see how this goes, really.
Yes, we will see. Give them the business with your bomb.
Panzer of the Lake on Twitch says, you two are the most remarkable duo in history. Well, thank you. Hopefully we will become even better as the streams go on. We are planning to release one stream every week, so tune in probably next Thursday or Friday. We have to actually set down a proper schedule for that, but if you enjoy the streams, do tune in. We will be here, hopefully for a long time to come.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop my bomb on this SPAA, and I have a hole in my left wing!
Dude, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Sorry,
not even the correct
chat,
wing.
I have to apologize. I lied to you. I did not have a hole in my left wing. I had a hole in my right wing!
Dude, this is just the best joke in the world. I mean, it can move from the left wing to the right wing, just like that, seamlessly.
I know, right?
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
It's very smooth, almost like an egg.
I can't... Oh, fuck.
See, this is how I can just interrupt immediately. Just mention certain oval objects. That is all that we need to do.
I mean, I had a whole thing in my head to, like, do a comic riff on that, and it just went immediately when the egg was brought up. It's just gone. There's no point anymore. It's just egg all the time.
You are very welcome. Chat, should we make Tom play the cool egg?
No, I mean... It's,
the Egg Panzer.
not the Egg Panzer.
It's the Egg Panzer.
No, it's not the Egg Panzer.
It is the Egg Panzer now.
No one's ever said this before. This is a thing you made up.
Ooh, Oxy, actually, I have a question for you since you were playing it a bit ago. Game Crasher on Twitch asks, what is the weakness of the Jagdtiger?
Jagdtiger? Well, it kind of has probably three weaknesses, or three sort of core weaknesses, I suppose. Chiefly, you have the reload, which is, I believe, 19 seconds. I can't remember if it's 19 seconds stock or 19 with a decent crew, but it's around 20 seconds, which is very, very long. And additionally to that, it's turreted, of course, doesn't really have the best side armor from a flat angle, and its mobility is decently poor. So in this battle, I played the Jagdtiger in a, well, not a great way. I brought it into close quarters, and that's why I got knocked out.
You never want to bring Jagdtigers to close quarters, that's for sure.
Definitely not. It's a vehicle that chiefly works sniping at the back of the map, which gives the enemy the least ability to knock you out from the sides. The lower plate from the front can be a weak spot if you're facing the IS-2 or Russian vehicles that use the 122 or anything with Sabo. They can knock out the transmission plate. But apart from that, long range, keeping it relatively hull down, it can do a lot of work. The gun is great if it penetrates, but the reload is not amazing. So if you are playing the Jagdtiger, make sure you aren't too close, and also make sure that you're not positioned in such a way where an enemy can rush you if need be, because if there's an enemy, say, around the corner from where you are, they will know they have roughly about 20 seconds to push you if you fire, and that's a really big weakness to have if the enemy knows roughly what your reload is. So keep it at distance. That's really where the majority of German vehicles excel, and yeah, that's where I've certainly had the most success personally with the Jagdtiger. Or Jagdtiger.
Jagdtiger. This is the German Unity stream. We have to pronounce the vehicles properly. So, I am going to bring out the Panzer 4H, which is a particular favorite of mine. Do you happen to know why?
Why, Mike? Could it be the side skirts?
Look at this beauty. Look at this absolute beauty. With the add-on armor, with the extra thick tracks. There are few things in life that are quite as good as a Panzer 4H. Not in terms of gameplay, maybe, because I am massively up-tiered right now, but definitely in terms of looks. This has to be one of the best-looking vehicles in this game. It is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a pretty quintessential tank design, I guess. Like, I can get behind that. I can agree there. It's very boxy. As we all know, boxes are the best shape by far.
Ooh, this is an interesting one, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Trustworthy on Twitch asks, what's the most interesting tank/vehicle in the game, in your guys' opinion, that anyone can get? So tech tree stuff.
Oh gosh, that's a very deep question.
It is. Keep in mind, if we have over 1,700 vehicles in the game currently, right? So picking out of those one single vehicle is really a challenge, especially because we have so many actually really interesting vehicles. I mean, we have the Panzer of Rage, of course. We have the newly added BI, the Russian rocket fighter, which is just weird. It's just so weird. We have stuff like the Tandem Mai. That also Russian event vehicle. Okay, those are event vehicles. Never mind. I should stick to the tech vehicles. But we have the L333, small little Italian tankette. We have stuff like, let's see, we have all the howitzers. We have the Chiha long gun, which was introduced in the last patch, which is absolutely just ridiculous. Oop! I'm alive somehow. I'm alive. Come on, reload. Beat him. Yeah, there we go. Panzer 4H is the best vehicle in the game. Oh god, I'm getting rushed by T-44.
We did it,
I'm
Reddit.
alive somehow, but I'm not feeling so well, Mr. Stark.
Contemporary meme, I like it. Yeah, in terms of unique vehicles, I can't really... It's a very difficult question like that. I mean, it depends, I guess, on really the person playing the vehicle. Like, really what you'd be interested in terms of playstyles. I mean, there are vehicles that definitely offer quite unique playstyles. Chiefly those that have very high caliber guns, like the FV 4005, that kind of thing. Which are vehicles that are just sort of fun. Like, vehicles like that, like the T95, those are vehicles that personally I really, really like. For kind of an abstract reason. There's not really a simple way to explain it, really, but vehicles like that, for the most part, they're sort of underdog vehicles. And in the sense that they have very extreme strengths and very extreme weaknesses. So the FV 4005, for example, is very weak, has incredibly long reload, but has an incredibly powerful gun. T95, incredibly slow, but incredibly good armor. And playing vehicles like that, even when you get knocked out, you don't really take it as a loss. It's hard to kind of explain, but they're just vehicles that are universally fun. It's like anything you do in them, any kill you get, feels like an achievement. So they're just fun and satisfying to use, and I think those vehicles are really important for the game, and I love playing them. Because it's like, you're playing the T95 and you get bombed, it's like, of course you did. You're in a T95. And it's like, you don't really, beat yourself up about it. I know it's kind of easy, like if you're playing, progress really heavily, you want to get those wins and stuff. And if you're going through, like, playing the meta like that, and every time you lose, you might feel like, you're losing progress. But if you play those fun vehicles like that, it just takes all the pressure off. And for me personally, that's some of the most fun areas of the game, playing those vehicles. And I absolutely love that, those sort of weird things with the very extreme strengths and the very extreme weaknesses. So that'd be my answer.
Very much so. Hopefully that answers your question right there.
Yes.
And I believe we have just lost the game, sadly. We're not doing so well today. Do you think they'll notice?
Yes, obviously they will. We're on live stream. Mike, what are you talking about?
Damn it. Let's just switch over to the screen so they don't know. Yes. We'll just pretend we actually won this game. Oh my god, what an amazing win. Did you see that clutch? Holy crap. I mean, we were in a full up tier and we still managed to come back. Classic, grasping at win, yes. I'm not very convincing, am I?
It's not going to work. I mean, they were there. They were there the whole time, watching it. I mean, this is lunacy, what we're doing here.
I think we have to distract them.
How are we going to do that, MikeGoesBoom?
Egg.
No. There's no... It just makes my brain switch off every time the egg's mentioned. And there's no point. Let's maneuver away from the egg entirely.
No, if it actually works. I mean, if it made your brain switch off, then imagine the chat. Yeah, look, I'm just going to see, like, see, you already see, the chat is just full of egg right now.
Is it? Oh god, it is. I'm not going to look in that direction again. How about we play something else? That'll be great.
Alright guys, at 10 million subs we'll make Tom eat an egg, alright?
It's not happening.
Twitch. We have a question from Twitch. Gaming 2, many Hannas. Do you work for Gaijin, Mike, or do you just have a cool t-shirt? Well, we are currently streaming on the official channels. I do have the cool Gaijin t-shirts. Yes, we actually were employed about 3 months ago now.
Yeah, God, it was a while ago now. Well, 3 months. Yeah, it feels like a long time.
We started I started in September. Oxy came 2 weeks later. You started no, not September, in July.
July, yes.
You started in August,
the
1st of August. So yeah, we've been here a few months now. Moved over to Germany. Tom came from the UK. I came from Portugal. And it's been an interesting ride so far.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, it's been a huge adjustment. I mean, can't speak for you, Mike, but for myself, it's been a huge adjustment, considering that I don't really speak German apart from certain forbidden words. But yeah, it's been really fun so far. I mean, I'm loving it. It's a huge change in routine for me, but I mean, it's great. And I'm really, really glad I took the opportunity.
Very much so. Very much so. We'll see how this evolves, really. Now, let's see. What can we play next? Should we try actually playing the D13 without going into ground battles?
We could.
We definitely could. We definitely could. It's going to be probably our only air outing this time around. Let's see if I have a lineup where I actually have it properly crewed. And this will be fine. This will be fine. This time I will actually put it to air realistic. Yes.
See that you do.
I did. It'll be just fine. We have a question from D Hunter on Twitch. Question for both of you. Are you two going to be covering the big update streams? We don't know yet, actually. We honestly don't know. We can't really say too much about that. We would like to, but of course it is very important that our developers get their screen time during those streams. And yeah, just I guess wait and see. We can't really say too much more there.
It's certainly a possibility, but we will have to wait and see.
We will definitely be streaming regularly, though, at least once a week, maybe 2 streams a week. We have a few ideas in mind, a few concepts that we want to bring in slowly, one at a time, to see what sticks. So, guys, actually, it's very important that you guys leave us some feedback as well. What do you like about the streams? What do you dislike about streams? Let us know. We can adjust. This is all about... This is definitely, I mean, our main goal really with the streams is just to increase the interactivity with the chat, with the community. And hopefully we are achieving that, so... Let us know how we are doing. Probably terribly.
Well, I mean, don't put yourself down so quickly, MikeGoesBoom. We are certainly... No, we're not very good, are we?
We're not.
Dreadful.
We're really not. We're doing terribly. We're doing absolutely terribly.
I just managed to get cat juice on my nose.
You got cat juice on your nose.
Don't mention it again.
Clip that now.
No,
Twitch.
Don't.
Twitch. Clip that.
No. This is not the future that I want.
It is too late. It has already been clipped. It's being posted to Reddit at this very moment.
No, if it goes on Reddit, I will jump out of the window. I won't actually do that. Although we'll see.
Yes, cat juice.
No,
cat juice.
No, I don't want to think about... No, oh God.
Show some battles with commentary. We can do that. How about we actually try and commentate over the gameplay we're actually doing? So... We are in the 190 D13 on a rather small map, a bit too small really for my liking in this case. Oxy is actually doing the smart thing of going for the side climb in the back of the map so we can get a bit of altitude. The 190 D13 is definitely not the kind of plane that can do low altitude dogfights very well. It is more of an energy fighter, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's not really known for its turning. I mean, personally, I really like the firing platform. It's very, very easy to maneuver, especially in those particular boom and zooming dogfights. A lot of vehicles lock up, but this thing has a very, very stable firing platform, especially down to the rolling. You can get your guns on target very, very easily. And for me, that's what I remember most fondly about using this thing to grind through a German tree all of those many, many years ago. Yeah, it's a decent aircraft. It's got its pros, it's got its cons, but for a vehicle, it's pretty good. I'm a fan.
Oh, very much so. I really like the guns. 3 20mm MG 151s, they are quite good, and you get quite a bit of ammo with them as well.
A lot of ammo.
The problem is just, I could never really adjust to the 190's playstyle myself. I don't know, I have a bit of a weird playstyle. I like planes that can turn well. I like planes that, generally speaking, can have a massive energy advantage. The 190 is, I don't know, like people can really make this work. Like this thing has a very good roll rate when you are at speed. It climbs very well. The guns are very accurate because they're all mounted very close to the center of your plane. And they are quite good. I mean, the 20mm German cannons are some of the best cannons in the game, really. But I just can't make this thing work.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly not vehicles that are amazing for an absolute beginner. But if you've made your way through the German tree, it's a vehicle that does have a lot of uses. And it's quite forgiving, especially down to the ammo count as well. I mean, in terms of flying it perfectly, it's quite difficult. I mean, I haven't flown this thing for a very, very long time, so I've fallen out of touch with it. But it's really good, at least for me, just because of how much ammo it has, and that's a huge advantage for a vehicle like this. Especially as the 151s aren't the easiest to aim. They're certainly not the most difficult, but they are one of the slower cannons like that. So having a lot of ammunition really, really helps. It does have its advantages.
Something you really have to keep in mind with German cannon, especially with the Minengeschoss, is that each different ammo, each different round type in your ammo belt actually has different muzzle velocities.
That's true.
Oftentimes, especially in the case of the German cannons, you have the tracer shells, which are the ones that you actually see being fired, but they tend to be much faster than the Minengeschoss shells, the ones that actually do damage. So what can happen if you're not being careful is that you are aiming with your tracer shells, hitting the enemy, but you're only hitting them with the tracer shells and not doing that much damage. Whereas the Minengeschoss shells, which you're probably not going to be able to see, they're missing. They're being behind the enemy or undershooting. Something you really have to keep in mind. It's something you can actually probably use the vertical targeting for. I'm not sure if it actually works for different shell types. I know it works for different gun calibers. But it is something you really have to keep in mind in all vehicles that have vastly different ammunition types in their belts, really.
Yeah, I mean, if those rounds connect, they will do a huge amount of damage, but, you know, they are a little bit on the tricky side to aim, but once you get the lead down, if you play a lot of German vehicles like this, once you can lead those guns, they do an incredible amount of damage, and they're really, really satisfying to use once you get the aim. And it does take a while, like, I mean, especially for me, if I haven't played German vehicles that use the 151s in a long time, I do lose the aim a fair bit as well, but once you get it down, they can have a really, really good time with vehicles like this. Especially
Speaking of a really good time, I'm going to try and see if I can make this PB4Y have a bad time. Or I can actually try and go for the B17 instead, which is probably a bit more dramatic in this case. Although he is having his gunners out. And there we go! He's got a hole in his left wing, but my engine was damaged pretty badly.
Oh, yes.
How's the situation over there, Oxy? What are you doing right now?
Not too bad. Nothing over the middle of the map. I think it's just those bombers left from the looks of it.
We have actually, yeah, we have been able to get most of the enemy bombers so far. I'm in a very bad position because I'm right over the enemy airfield, and those AI gunners, oh boy, they do not mess around. So let me get the hell out of here whilst I can.
Oh gosh golly, Mike, it seems you're in a pickle.
I am quite indeed. There are still some B-17s high, and my engine has just kind of died, so...
see if you can,
smoke out!
Hero mode.
Come on then!
Hero mode.
Come on then! You wanna go? You wanna have a go, mate?
Best accent.
Ja, there we go.
Very nice.
Hat ein Loch in seinem rechten Flügel, ja!
Excuse me?
Yes.
Me too, thanks.
And Oxy takes down one of the B-17s. Very nice.
Just one more left. Let's see if I can get there before the AA rips me apart.
Gator Tribe, a content creator on Twitch, asks, Mike, what ammo should I use in each of my new Prince Eugen's guns? See, you're asking the wrong person because I don't have any clue about navals. So I'm going to lead this question on to you, Tom.
Well, I mean, for cruiser gameplay, you're going to want the AP or SAP shell, so semi-armor piercing, especially when engaging other cruisers. The fastest, but in terms of, well, the fastest way of knocking out an enemy cruiser is to get an AP round or an SAP round into the ammo rack. But getting the accuracy and getting them there with the high caliber guns, because the high caliber guns are quite inaccurate, getting that round into the ammo rack is going to be quite difficult. So HE will do damage basically wherever you hit. But getting AP rounds or SAP rounds into the middle of the cruiser is really going to do the most damage because that's where the majority of the crew are. So, you know, knocking out the engines, knocking out the guns, maybe going for the ammo rack, that's really the quickest way. So AP and the SAP are really the lifeblood of cruisers specifically. So that's what I would use. But carry some HE if you're fighting a vessel that doesn't have a lot of armor because it can still do a lot of damage as well. Wow. Would you look at
what we got. Look at what we got, lads. This is the special decal you can currently unlock in the game for free by simply playing 3 battles above rank 2 in the German tech tree.
That's right, Mike. And look what it says. Decal. 30 Jarry. What a nice phrase to put on there. What?
Oh, God.
You look sad.
Tom, no, it's not 30 jars.
Is it not?
That's 30 Jahre. 30 Jahre, 30th anniversary. Ja, Jahre.
But it says Jarry right there.
I'm going to give you a jar full of pickles.
Okay, I mean, I've never had a pickle, so I was expecting something else then. But I don't think.
Hold on, no, hold on. I think we just glossed over some crucial information here. Hold on. You never had a pickle either.
No.
He never had an egg. He never had a pickle. What else did he never have?
A lot of things. You know, Mike, one time I heard this story about a guy that turned himself into a pickle.
I know, that was such a good story. The storytelling was absolutely amazing there.
It's the funniest thing I've ever... I hate myself. I was like, am I really going to do a Pickle Rick joke? Am I going to do that on the War Thunder official stream? Yes, I definitely am. And it was a bad idea. I'm filled with regret right now. I cannot believe that was a thing I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Meme Thunder.
Get out while you can. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
Oh, it is going to get so much worse.
Yep.
It is going to get so much worse. Now, I have an idea, Tom. Since we were just asked about the Prince Eugen, how about we try and play it out?
We certainly could give it a go.
Now, keep in mind, once again, I am a complete and utter self-assumed noob when it comes to naval gameplay. But, thankfully, I have a very good player next to me, so I'm really hoping you can carry me, Tom. I'm really hoping you can carry me, because this is going to be awful if I just play on my POV the entire time. I may be able to ram an island very, very hard.
I mean, you could... Oh, maybe not. We'll see. Perhaps. Certainly possible.
It's probably my only way of assuring I don't sink. It's beating myself.
Well, I suppose so. You could certainly try.
We shall see. We shall see. Actually, before we do that, can you give us a quick overview of what the Prince Eugen has in terms of statistics here?
Well, statistic in terms of, well, as a cruiser, it's pretty good. It's one of those vehicles that, at least for top tier right now, personally, I'd say the Helena and the Brooklyn are probably still some of the best at top tier, just because of how quickly the guns fire and how much potential damage you have. But this vehicle still is pretty good. You've got high damage in the guns if they connect well. The only downside really is that they're not amazingly accurate. But if they do connect, you do get the lead down, you do get the range down, they will do a lot of damage. And it is also one of the more survivable vehicles as well. It has a lot of crew, a lot of armor in the right places. It's pretty good. It's maybe not the easiest ship to use in terms of top tier machines like this. Well, top tier currently for naval. But as a vehicle, it's good. It's pretty decent and pretty forgiving in the sense of the crew that it has. It is a very high amount of crew. So, it is going to take a few hits before getting knocked out unless you do get very unlucky with the ammo racks. So it's a vehicle I haven't used too much, in the same as the Hipper as well. But from what I remember from playing it when it came out and in the previous weeks when I have given it a go, grinding out the cruiser beginning with L, whose name I will not pretend I can pronounce. One of the new ones. I remember playing the Eugen for that. But
do you mean the Lübeck?
I do not.
Oh, no.
I don't want to say it out loud because I'm going to get bullied. But grinding one of those cruisers, I had a pretty decent time for that. It's a decent versatile cruiser. It's one I certainly enjoy playing, although I haven't played it a huge amount, so hopefully this won't go terribly, but we will see.
We shall see. When you're ready up, we can go into the battle and really see how this performs. Now, oh god, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting for me. I'm not much of a naval player, that is for sure, so feel free to laugh at me.
Please don't hurt his feelings.
Ueshi, here's another question for you. Axu in the Twitch chat asks, which ship is better, the Maxim Gorky or the Prince Eugen?
Probably the Maxim's a Kirov class sort of. Well, I don't know if it's a Kirov class. It's very similar to that.
Is it Kirov reporting?
No, it's certainly not. Yeah, I think, if I remember, I haven't played that thing for a very, very long time, but the guns, those 180s the Russian cruisers have, are incredibly powerful with the SAP rounds. I think they have nearly 10 kilograms of filler. So they're very, very powerful. But really, it just depends. They both have pretty decent advantages. Eugen has pretty decent fire rate for the caliber of guns that it has, and has the armor as well, has the survivability. They both are pretty effective. I'm not sure I could say which one is best because they both have quite pronounced advantages and disadvantages, so it's not really a black and white question. But they have their own advantages, and I think really as vehicles, they both do work at top tier for sure. Top tier currently. Yeah, good machines. Good machines.
Well, let's see how this goes. We are on the high seas with the deforming camouflage for this thing, and that's an interesting little plane we have over there, don't you think?
Yeah.
It almost looks like a Narvado.
It certainly does, Mike.
That we actually have in the game. One of the event vehicles of events, like not that long ago, a few weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, not too long.
And maybe, just maybe, I did actually bring it out, so
perhaps
we
you
can
did.
Be very immersive here.
Very immersive.
All right, what else do we have over here? Question, do you enjoy top tier jets? By Dominatortre on Twitch. Personally, I actually really do. Now, keep in mind, I haven't had too much time to actually play this patch, sadly, because I'm working full time. But the one plane I probably like the most out of any of the top tier jets is the Draken. Oh, the Draken is so much fun.
Yes.
See, the Draken is the Swedish top tier jet at the moment. It is equipped with 4 AIM-9Js. It has a double delta wing layout. And when you master the ability of quickly switching over to full simulator controls, you can pull a Cobra in the Draken. Wow. And it is absolutely amazing and beautiful. And I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun one. Personally, I don't play top tier jets too much. Mainly it's sort of the earlier tiers where I find the most enjoyment, but you can have a lot of fun in the top tiers just because of how fast everything moves. I do really like that about it. But yeah, I haven't really spent too much time, especially for top tier jets, but they do have a lot of good attributes, especially just how fast everything moves. I really like that. You know, you don't have many opportunities, you know, for making a mistake like you do in the lower tiers. Like I kind of like the slower pace, at least for me. But yeah, I've certainly had a lot of fun. I mean, we've played a couple of games with top tier and some of the new jets. Very, very enjoyable. Yeah, it's a good mode, and I think, you know, there's a lot of room to add new stuff as well, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I think down the line, especially down to the end of the year, I'll probably be playing a lot more of top tier jets, getting a bit more used to it, so we can probably play a bit more on stream as well.
Now keep in mind, my own trick with top tier jets really is to not really play so much for the kills, but more play for the fun. Like, I don't care if I don't get kills in the Draken. I just pull Cobras everywhere and have fun.
Yes.
Stunt flying also. Coming back to my point about really enjoying custom battles, I like one particular map, the cargo port map, that has those little cranes for the shipping containers. You can pull Cobras through there. Wow. It is really fun. It is really fun.
Fantastic.
Okay, to try on Twitch. I'm just waiting for Mike to flip his boat over, honestly. I mean, it's very definitely a possibility. Right now, I'm just trying to not get shot like everyone else is, because honestly, I can't even see the enemy ship. I think he's on the other side of the island, but I don't know how to aim these guns.
We're flying against the sun at the moment. Always try and aim a little bit below the distance reading that it tells you. That's what I go for.
What kind of distance do you actually tend to go for in that regard? Like 200 meters below, 300 meters below?
It depends on the ship and how sort of tall it is effectively, but a few hundred meters generally, depending on how far away the ship is probably what you want to go for. Also, this is so awful. I just need to complain about it. I can't waste it, so I'm going to need to drink it.
You seem to be quite focused on your cat juices today.
Oh,
no. Alright, I'm not even sure. What am I doing? I'm trying to get my guns on target, but I took quite a bit of the battering there because the enemy is very, very adept at hitting me in my zones that hurt, in my no-no spots. And oh boy, this is scary.
Certainly is. Tell you what,
Seems
I'm going
like
to let you
up.
carry this game while I filter this out of my system because my body is screaming at me.
Oh no.
Have fun.
Oh no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the solo stream. My name is MikeGoesBoom, and I have no idea what I'm doing in this game mode, but I'm going to try and see if I can do my best. Now, I'm guessing what I can try and do is channel my imagination to pretend that the Prinz Eugen is a Panzer IV. I mean, it is thick, it is very, very tall sidewalls, it is quite a bit of a long boy. So let's see. What would a Panzer IV do in this situation? Well, a Panzer IV in this situation would probably try and get his guns on target in the first place and see if he can actually start to fire back, because this entire match I haven't actually fought back yet, which is not exactly ideal in this case. The one thing that I think I have the most issues with in Naval tends to be the long firing ranges and the time it takes for the shells to really get to. Something you really have to adjust. Naval isn't really so much about the reaction times, like top tier jets, for example, is, or aircraft in general, or for example, tanks. Especially Tank Arcade. Tank Arcade is very fast-paced. A bit too fast-paced for my own liking, like sticking to my RB. Naval isn't really like that. Naval, you don't really run into situations where you have to rely on your reaction times. You are more dependent on your positioning, on your ability to aim your guns and predict the lead, and well, a bit of luck, I would say. I'm doing some damage against this guy at least, so that's good. And Tom has come to save me. Tom, carry me, please.
I have returned.
Please,
Worry
carry
not.
me. I am dead. A big surprise.
I see. Well, we'll see how this is going. How far away am I? Very far. Okay, let's change that. Sail in. In we go. How was your experience with the organ so far?
Well, I died.
I see.
But I am very much tempted to bring out the big boy.
The big boy.
The big boy. How about some Admiral Graf Spee?
Give it a go.
Watchdar on Twitch asks, question for the both of you. What is your favorite ground RB lineup? Ooh. I actually know.
Yeah?
I actually know. Do you?
What's your favorite?
I actually have 3. I have 3 lineups that I really, really, really like. 4.0 Germany, KV1B, German Sherman, all the good stuff. 4.3 Russia, T-3457s. They are beautiful.
That was a good sound effect as well.
Yes.
That was good.
Someone should hire me for sound effects. You got a hole in your left wing. And 6.3 America. 6.3 America is really one of those hidden gems in GFRB. You have the Super Hellcat, an M18 with a 90mm nuke launcher. You have the Super Pershing, the T26E, I think it's E4 or E1? I think it's E1.
Yeah, I think so.
T26E1, Super Pershing.
Oh no, E4 for
With
the
a
Super Pershing.
E4.
I was thinking of the other one.
Yes, the M26E1, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Names aren't really our strong points, but you know what we mean. With the long boy 90mm cannon, which has a lot of penetration and a lot of armor, especially when you get into a full down tier with it. You have the F4U 6 AU1 Corsair, which can carry a lot of bombs. You have the F8F1B Bearcat, also for general air clearance and carrying bombs. You have so much stuff at that battle rating for the US ground forces. It's honestly so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, it's a really good lineup. I really like playing the 76 Shermans. They're some of my favorite vehicles. If I had to choose a favorite vehicle, that might be my favorite. I've always loved the Shermans. They're just so versatile for what they are. And you know, when I first started playing the game, I suffered a fair bit with them. I didn't really get them. But after a while of playing them and trying to grind all the camos, I got it. You know, it clicks in your head and it's like, oh yeah, I get it now. You know, they have the short stabilizer, the gun decently powerful, decent mobility, and the armor can work as well in the right situation. And you can also really hyper angle the front plate, and you can bounce, you know, 88s if you're lucky. I mean, there's ways to play the Sherman in almost every map and every situation. So for me, maybe 5.7, 5.3 US. I really enjoy that.
5.7, especially when you have the M18 Hellcat, that thing is quite good. And the Jumbos. The Jumbos are also pretty nice.
The Jumbos are always really, really fun, and they're a good vehicle to kind of wind down with or play if, you know, you may want to play, but you're a bit tired. That's generally my go-to, like if I want to play the game, but I'm just, you know, knackered. Because they're very, very, very forgiving, the Jumbos, especially if you're on a good map. So, yeah, Jumbos are really, really good fun. Require a bit of aiming, learning how the gun works, especially in the higher tiers. But yeah, in the right situation, they can work really, really well. And they do allow you to make some mistakes as well. So, yeah, one of the best, really, for having fun with like that.
Ooh, I have an interesting one. Tim. Tim.
Excuse me?
Hi, Tim. How are you doing today?
Excuse me? I mean, it's
you got a
3
license.
letters.
You got a license for calling him Tim.
My name is literally 3 letters long.
See, I was always just terrible with names, to be honest. Like, terrible with names. Tom, I am very sorry. We have a question from Kane745 on Twitch asking, can you guys give us any tips on playing the Hetzer? See, I have a special relationship with the Hetzer.
Don't say that.
A part of course, my waifu, the Panzer 4H with those beautiful side skirts. I am quite a fan of the Hetzer. I mean, in real life it was a terrible, terrible vehicle. It came way too late in war to have any kind of real effect. I mean, the 75mm gun, which has pretty much Panzer 4F2 levels of penetration in 1944. It was pretty cramped, pretty small, not great quality. But in War Thunder, the Hetzer is such a fun little machine. It's... Okay, let me tell you the general idea of playing the Hetzer. Now, keep on, you will have a bit of a disadvantage because the Hetzer is 4.3. And generally speaking, most German players that have battle ratings tend to stick around 4.0. But if you can live with the occasional up tier into 5.3, the Hetzer can really do quite a bit of damage. I mean, it doesn't have the most penetration at that tier. Think of it like a Panzer IV F2 gun, pretty much. That's about what you can expect. It's not quite Panther levels of penetration. Your armor isn't exactly the best. You have 60mm frontal plates. Your side armor is very weak. The frontal plates are pretty well angled, but if you face some higher caliber shells, especially up in the higher battle ratings, you are going to get penetrated pretty easily in that regard. But if you play your cards right, if you play ambush, if you sneak around, what I actually like to do with the Hetzer, because it is actually decently mobile, because it is so small, you can kind of sneak around city streets and do some ambushes, because that's really what the Hetzer was meant to be. It was meant to be an ambush tank, kind of like the Sturk. And you can do it in War Thunder. Sure, you might not have the most penetration to deal with a heavy tank from the front, but you do have enough to go from the sides. You have the mobility for that. You have a very small profile. The Hetzer is a very, very small tank, surprisingly so. I actually saw one in real life when I had a trip over to England, to the Tank Museum in Bovington, and I was able to hug a Hetzer.
You did.
I love it. I just love the Hetzer.
Very sweet
I don't know
boy.
why. Historians hate the Hetzer. Click on this link to find out why. But I just love the Hetzer. It's a fun little cutie of a tank.
Yeah, me too. I've always enjoyed the Hetzer. It's just very sweet looking. But yeah, I think the Hetzer's biggest downside really is the side armor, which does limit where you can safely play. So a range head-on is really where you want to be. Even if you slightly angle because of the overmatch mechanics, it's very likely that whatever you're fighting will be able to get through you quite easily. So it does require a little bit of careful play, but as Mike said, playing it a bit on the flank where it's not expected can go really, really well. That or sniping if you're top tier at 4.3, there's very few things that can actually get through the front plate. But it does have one frontal weak spot, or rather two, which are the area in which the front drive wheels connect to the hull. They're relatively flat, and pretty much anything can get through into the hull that way. So, again, like most German vehicles, long range, in straight front on, so covering a pretty narrow sight line, I think is personally where I've used the Hetzer to good effect. And yeah, it's a good vehicle, it's got a good lineup. And yeah, very sweet as well. A cute boy.
It is adorable. Isn't it, adorable little tank?
Certainly is.
Now, Tom, how are you actually doing? I think we might be winning. I believe so. I'm currently trying to use the single fire mode of these guns, try and see if I can actually do some damage on this vehicle over there. How are you doing over there?
In my haste to flush my system of cat juices, I've sailed into dangerous waters, so I do not believe I will be surviving for much longer. We will see.
Hold on there, Tom. Hold on there, Tom. You can do it.
I don't know if I can, MikeGoesBoom.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. What is the worst that could happen, right? Especially for me, who was just sitting here in the middle of the ocean, not moving. What is the worst that could possibly happen to me?
I could lose my KD.
Not the precious KD.
My KD.
You cannot lose your KD. The KD is crucial.
I won't do that voice again. I will.
Ooh, a little bit too low. A little bit too low. I need to compensate a lot less for that.
Yeah, using the I won't try and pronounce it because I'll just get bullied on Reddit. The graph spee.
Not too far off. Not too far off.
I was trying to say it in a stupid way, but I guess it wasn't stupid enough. Yeah, the accuracy of those guns isn't quite what it was. I mean, they a little bit less powerful now, but still, if you make a good connecting hit, especially with the SAP or the HE with those guns, they will do a lot of damage. Not quite as much as they used to, but still pretty good. I haven't used the spray in a while. Oh, loud. It's the end.
I think that went a bit badly for you there. Can we play the Titanic sound in the background, or is it going to be copyrighted?
I mean, I think definitely, yes.
Maybe we can pretend it.
No, don't do it. Don't do. This is the worst.
I'm just going to aggressively T-pose over here.
This is the future you chose.
Welcome to the very interactive streams. All right.
The worst.
If you could add any nation, which one would you add? Good question. Do we even want more nations at this point is the question.
Well, it depends really on the nation itself entirely. I think right now, I mean, personally, there's lots of vehicles I want added in other trees, but, you know, I mean, perhaps. Who knows?
I mean, there are a few nations that could be interesting, but I don't think they would be quite complete enough to add as full nations. Maybe something like a combination nation or something like that.
Combination nation.
You could have some interesting Middle Eastern vehicles. I know there was a kind of weird hybrid between a chieftain and I believe a centurion. Something like that. The Khalid tank.
That sounds interesting.
Was, I think, exported to Jordan. It was a very interesting vehicle. You have some more Chinese vehicles we could add, but we already have China in the game, of course. We could have some interesting Czechoslovakian vehicles in the game. Some Polish vehicles. And of course, the fan favorites. The Bob sample. Entire New Zealand tree, just Bob samples. Nothing but Bob samples. Bob samples is the only thing you need.
Funniest thing I've ever heard.
I know, right? It's almost as fun as having a hole in your left wing.
What a funny meme.
Now, I am a bit high and I don't see too much through these clouds.
Yeah, there's a bit of haze right now. It's a bit hard to see.
Actually, I think I spotted an enemy over there. I currently have two 1,800 kilogram bombs loaded, so hopefully I will be able to do some decent damage with these.
Yes, these Satans, very, very powerful. Do they have a particular name in German, or is it just Satan?
Well, I think Satan is the German name, actually. Oh. Satan.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Makes sense.
These are the Satan bombs. The question is, how long will they take to get to the target? And do I compensate for him possibly moving away? I guess we'll just see. I'm going to drop one here and see what happens. One bomb is out. We can actually follow it through the bomb cam. I might have maybe not compensated enough for the speed of the vehicle, but we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like it might overshoot. Ships are deceptively quick for their size. I mean, a long way away, they kind of look very, very slow, but they're decently maneuverable.
Oh, this is looking good. This is looking good.
Oh, you're right.
He's trying to maneuver. He's trying to maneuver. Oh, this is close. Boom!
We did it, Reddit.
GGZ, this was completely calculated. I am the best bomber in naval forces from now on out.
That was totally a Pogger's moment, MikeGoesBoom.
Yes,
I'm a
big
professional
Pog.
streamer.
The big Pog. Okay, now it's confirmed you're German. Vielleicht. Vielleicht. Do you like some Sonderkraftfahrzeug? Let's see. Hey, Super Sovian on Twitch says, I think it's so cool to have hosts that actually have knowledge about the meta and as a player. Well, yeah, I mean, we have been playing this game for a long while now. I started just after the My Little Pony April Fool's event.
Oh no.
If you remember that all the way back from, I believe it was 2013. I know I started in December 2013.
Yeah, it was
That's when I actually started my account.
The 2013 April Fool's event. The one of the darker moments in War Thunder history.
Or maybe one of the brightest.
I mean, I suppose,
After all, friendship is
don't say it.
magic.
You said it.
And all of a sudden, not only do we have Verabus, not only do we have Weeps, now we also have Bronies in our audience.
We were so close to greatness. We were so close.
So close.
But
yeah, that's when I started. Tell me, when did you actually start? Do you remember?
I can't remember exactly. Because I played basically with a friend, essentially, because I didn't have a PC at the time. I had a laptop that could run Air Arcade at, I think, 14 FPS. And I eventually used that to grind all the way up to the Meteor Mark III. Pretty good. I had a decent time. It was really, really fun back in the day. And I remember playing arcade with the Meteor and the Vampire. It was great. It's some of my fondest memories, you know, in the way nostalgia works. It was a good time.
I don't think this bomb will actually connect. I dropped it a bit too, well, far behind. So we're just going to switch over to Tom's view. Have you actually had any torpedoes recently?
In terms of being hit by them, or?
Well, both, I suppose.
Not for a while. I mean, a good thing to keep in mind while playing naval is to periodically look around yourself. Just get out of the gunner view and just check that you're not being sort of honed in by torpedoes. Because it is very easy to just stick in the gunner view, become a bit complacent, and just keep firing. But you will miss torpedoes from time to time. And I believe I've been bombed. Oh no.
Oh no. You have
no.
a hole in your
No.
superstructure?
No, we don't. I mean,
Honestly, we need to start making shirts with War Thunder memes.
I mean,
I have a perfect idea. How about a long sleeve shirt that is missing the left sleeve?
I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm disappointed.
I mean, that's fine. I think the state of your ship right now is perfectly representing your state of mind right now.
It's akin to exactly what I'm feeling. Despair.
Can we get some Titanic quotes in the chat?
Yep.
So, oh god, I am a bit too quick there. Sorry, I wasn't looking at my screen.
There, Mike.
Interesting. Luna Sai on Twitch says, I think Oxy has 13,000 hours. Oxy, is it close?
It's, I don't want to... It's nearly close to half the amount of hours that I have on one end of the spectrum. Actually, I think it might be more than I'm thinking. Because I know roughly how much it is. And no, I don't want to think about it.
Keep guessing.
No, please don't. Please don't guess.
Keep guessing, lads. All right, so we have played the German Sherman. We have played some D13. We've played some Prinz Eugen. How about we move into the big boy tiers here?
The big boy tiers. How about
the big boy tiers? I am really feeling like being the king of the battlefield right now.
The king of the battlefield?
The king of the battlefields.
Could you mean the King Tiger?
Yes, yes. And it definitely has nothing to do with a certain vehicle kind of looking like an egg.
It doesn't look like an egg.
And I'm definitely going to make Tom play this.
No,
I mean,
it doesn't look like an egg.
Come on.
It does not.
Just look at this.
It's not an egg.
It's a cracked egg. No, it's a breakfast egg.
What does this mean?
Egg.
Oh.
It's food, Tom. You need food. It is healthy.
I'm going to go back to my happy place where there's no eggs. And we can just play some video games and it will be fine. No eggs involved. Perfect. Docile. Placid lake of water.
What about pickled eggs?
No, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. What is a pickled egg?
It will have to happen, lads. It will have to happen.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
We are hopefully in the soon future going to be setting up some challenges. Challenges for the chat to complete, challenges for ourselves to complete, and, well, let's see what kind of forfeits we can think of. All right, we are in a battle. Now, sadly, we are in a full up tier, which, by the way, if you happen to not know how to determine if you're on a full up tier or full down tier in GFRB, simply look at your spawn points. In the specific case, I know by heart the spawn point costs of two vehicle classes, heavy tanks and medium tanks. In the case of heavy tanks, if your first spawn of your top battle rating heavy tank is 150, you are in a full up tier, so this is a 7.7 match. If your heavy tank costs 220 spawn points then to spawn, then you're in a full down tier. And you can kind of play around that. So right now you can see I have a very high variety lineup. Very varied lineup.
Yeah.
So in this case, it would actually be a pretty bad idea to spawn the King Tiger, simply because heavy tank in a full up tier is not going to be effective. The armor isn't really going to help it. It's only going to be dead weight. So instead, I'm actually going to pick something that is quick, that has high penetration, and is a bit more useful in this kind of situation. I'm going to pick out the RE251, which is a nice little teddy bear. Now, Tom is actually quite ballsy. He did bring out the King Tiger.
I certainly did. I mean, I quite like the Tiger, even in up tiers. I mean, the armor, as you said, isn't going to be reliable. But the Tiger is still a pretty decent platform. You know, you've got a good gun, fast reload, decent mobility for a heavy tank, not decent mobility in general. But for what it is, it's pretty versatile. I mean, you're not going to be bouncing everything, but the Tiger as a platform is still workable in 7.7. It's not going to be outstanding, but it is workable. It's not entirely outclassed. So I'm going to play.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Whilst you can't really rely on your armor anymore, you can still do quite a bit of damage with the gun. The gun is still quite powerful. The long 88, if you get a penetrating shot or even a side shot, oh god, like that, into a tank, that gun does quite a bit of damage.
I bet you wish you had some armor now, eh?
Well, to be fair, I did survive the first shot, just not
suppose.
the second one.
Yeah, I'm going to try and hang a little bit further back until that's generally what I try and do with the King Tigers, because especially with the H, in the way the turret is rounded, even if there's an enemy on your slight side, they can get through the side of the turret. So staying further back and making sure you can really point yourself at the enemy is a really good way to position yourself, at least in the early stages of the match. And that's what I'm trying to do here, if I can aim the gun, which would be nice.
I'm going to try a different approach this time. Since the R251 adventures didn't really go so well, I'm going to pick another fast tank with a good gun. In this case, the Panther II, which has the same gun as the King Tiger, but on a much more mobile platform, albeit without much armor, really.
And a slightly slower reload as well, I think.
Might be. I mean, it's a pretty cramped turret, to be fair. Now, the question is, will I be able to flank around? The flank around the other side of the bank is already being occupied pretty well by our team, so I'm not really going to bother with that. I could support our front line over here, which is currently being occupied by King Tigers, which I believe is what I'm actually going to try and do. Just not directly. Ideally, you want to avoid facing tanks directly head-on when you are in the battle rating disadvantage, especially in this case. I mean, if I face something like a T-34 or heavier 7.7 heavy tanks, like Russian ones, from the front, you are going to have some issues. But if we can get some side shots in, which is what you can really do very well with this long 88mm gun, that's going to be a bit more useful.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, even in the top tiers, the gun is really, really workable. I mean, even against some of the later vehicles, from after the war, I mean, it's still got great versatility. It's high velocity, high damage. It's got everything, really. It's certainly one of my favorite guns.
Okay, Tom, what can you actually see? Do you think there is anyone in the woods to my right side, or am I clear to cross here?
You've got a couple in there. I think they seem British to me from the look of the roof.
Oh no, not the British. Not the British. Ooh, that guy's looking at me. That's a T-44. Ooh, okay. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Now, the T-44, I'm pretty sure, can't get through my upper front plate armor. Oh, actually, he just used smoke. Okay. Don't shoot. He shot. I think he might have actually damaged me there, but it's fine. I'm going to use the smoke that the enemy provided here. Thank you very much, by the way. To try and advance towards the B cap and try and see if we can get this D cap going. Although I'm a bit scared from our right side here. Because there are tanks hiding in the woods. But they're using so much smoke. Why are they using so much smoke? They're actually making life easier for us at this point.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's the sort of double-edged sword of smoke like that. I mean, you can use it defensively or offensively, but if you use it too much, it can mask your own assault or escape. So it's one of those things that's used maybe a bit too much. I rarely find myself using smoke, only really to mask off sight lines. Like if I'm pushing out of cover to mask the sight line, that's really where I get the most use out of smoke. But yeah, when used too frequently, it can be kind of damaging to your own situation, really.
I mean, generally speaking, ideally, you actually want to use smoke on the enemy, not on your own position. If you see a tank, a very strong tank, hold down on a far sideline, you can lob a smoke shell in this direction and completely pretty much take him out of the battle for a while. Ooh, that SDRV-101 did not have a good time. I believe he might not have had a fire extinguisher at that point.
I don't believe he did, yeah.
Which, it's fine by me. Fine by me. Now, I am in a bit of a precarious situation here. There's a lot of sidelines over here. Tom, do you know how many tanks are still left on that wood area on the right side here?
At least one, but I don't think they're very interested in you right now. That one I knew of is down.
Very good,
so should be good to move out.
T-44. Didn't quite get through there. It might even be a T-54, actually. Got to try and reverse. I'm going to see if we can actually try and bait him into a shot here. Ooh, never mind. M26 went right through me. That's a bit of a problem with the Panther. It doesn't have that much armor at this battle rating.
Yeah, it's certainly not reliable armor, but the front plate is still pretty decent against APHE and AP shells, but of course Sabo heat will get through. Not bad, not great. Certainly not reliable, which, for a medium tank, can't really expect out of this tier. Yeah, certainly not the best in terms of armor, especially as the front of the turret is reasonably flat as well. So I'm going to try moving into the battle a little bit more here.
We have Dominatortre on Twitch asking, what's your favorite way to kill Panzer IVs and 3? How dare you? How dare you suggest such a heinous crime of killing a Panzer IV? The Panzer IV is a special and precious creature How dare you suggest that you can make the crew unconscious?
Well,
do you think I solved it well?
Yes, perfectly. I mean, I didn't notice anything.
Perfect.
At all.
Perfect.
I mean, personally, for those sorts of vehicles, getting the over-angled side is certainly the most reliable, at least in my experience, for knocking them out. So that's generally what I go for, but if that's not available, the turret of the Panzer IVs is usually the weakest point. I don't believe any of them go over 50mm. The early ones, the Panzer IV-C and the E have 30mm on the turret. Everything else has 50, but some have the additional track armor as well. And those can be a little bit tricky if they're top tier.
You do have to watch out for the ones that do have the track armor. The add-on track armor, those can be quite strong.
They certainly can. I mean, to an extent that's, I think, underappreciated a little bit, because track armor, what it is, I think it's I want to say a 75% modifier. I believe with the Panzer IV-H, at least, with the 80mm on the front plate and the 20mm on the tracks, the effective thickness is around 90-95mm, so the armor is actually really, really good, especially if you're fighting the American 75, so, you know, the Jumbo, the early Shermans. The armor of those Panzer IVs can be deceptively deceptively good. In the tracks even cover the turret, which means at range, you know, you can be a really, really tricky target. So, you know, the Panzer IVs do get outdated a little bit in terms of technology, you know, 4.0 to 5.0, but on the right map and the right BR, they can still do a lot of work, and I personally really do enjoy them.
Oxy, I see you brought one of my favorite vehicles out as well.
Yes, one of the most effective ground attackers in the game, I'd say.
Well, if you can get actually the aim down, this is the ME-262 Pulkzerstörer, also known as the 262 Narwhal. This is a 262 with a 50mm cannon in the nose, which is actually really quite good for cast. Now, originally I believe this plane was conceived to hunt bombers with the 50mm cannon at longer ranges, outside of the gunner range. But in War Thunder, it does have the access to a high penetration pure AP shell, which I believe has about 150mm of penetration. Mm-hmm. And you also have access to a very interesting shell, which is this 50mm APT shell, which only has 106mm of penetration, but has an HE filler. And you can actually go for the top armor of most Russian vehicles and one-shot them pretty effective, because all the crew is so tight together.
Almost any vehicle, yeah, and I believe it has almost identical performance to the gun on the Panzer IIIs, the 50mm. That's the same penetration, and I believe roughly the same filler as well.
It's a Panzer III with wings!
Effectively, yeah, it does pretty much very, very similar in terms of performance like that. So yeah, you can really go through the engine decks, knock vehicles up like that. And it does have a decent bit of one-shot potential as well, if you can get a decent shot through the turret. But it does take a little bit of time to get the aim down. I mean, I don't think we've used these for a while. But, you know, when you get a lot of practice in with this vehicle, it can be really, really effective.
Tom, what? I see a tortoise.
Oh no, don't
Let's bully the tortoise.
No bully. No bully. That was...
The tortoise falls into the Doom Turtle category, having great armor but a very bad mobility. And when you do nasty things like trying to go for the engine deck or the transmission, you can really ruin their day. You can really, really ruin their day.
You certainly can. Oh, poor tortoise.
Now, the tortoise has quite a bit of crew, so you might not be able to kill it outright with the 50mm, but you can just set on fire over and over again. I thought we're not really doing a great job there, are we?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while to get the aim down. I mean, this gun isn't perfectly, like, laser accurate, which I think is really good for it as a vehicle in the game. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty enjoyable. And, I mean, it also has the fighter spawn point cost as well, so it's kind of cheap to take out into battle.
It does. I mean, you can't really use this thing too effectively as a fighter, given that the 50mm cannon has a very slow fire rate compared to just, like, any other aircraft cannons. And you're going to have a hard time actually trying to hit especially nimble things like enemy fighters. Bombers, you can do some decent stuff, but generally speaking, this is not an air superiority vehicle. However, against tanks. In fact, go for the turret a couple times. Ooh!
Oh, loud.
I have a hole in my left flap, and I need a change of pants. Holy
I was going to
crap.
say, like, I was preparing for something worse you were going to say then, but it didn't happen. So I'm very happy about that. Yeah, that was a close one. Don't need to
I still have a few rounds of ammo left, and we actually win this game, which is really, really quite good. Our team is doing some good work there.
Yeah, pretty decent. This is a good map. One of my favorites, really. One of the earlier maps as well. I think it was maybe, I can't remember. I want to say maybe the 3rd or 4th Ground Force update where this thing came out, like after Ground Force was released.
I can't even remember when this map came out, to be honest.
I think it was one of the earlier ones. It's not one of the earliest, but one of the first urban-y maps after Poland. Which is pretty good. I do really like these maps with a bit of open areas to the sides, but city in the middle. It's a good map for the game. You have really an area for almost every type of vehicle to work in. You know, you've got the long ranges to snipe with. You've got the brawling potential for the heavy tanks, some of the medium tanks. It's definitely a fun one. It's one of my favorite maps for sure.
Let's just disregard what happened.
What a noise that was. That was some sound effect right there.
Very much so. Oh, Vetspend on Twitch says, Oxy, I love your videos and it helps me a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice, very nice.
I appreciate. I should hopefully be able to get back to them when I can get my own PC, which might take a while to get all the bits we need, but as soon as I have it done and set up in our new place, I will be getting back to making videos as soon as possible, because I've actually really missed making them and playing the game itself. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll get back to it as soon as possible.
There you go. You heard it here first. Oxy is coming back, lads. Oxy is coming back.
I will certainly try.
Panzer of the Lake asks, how do you recommend playing the A variants of the ME262? Interesting, because it's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah,
since the olden days of the 262, it really has to have a lot of different vehicles that you face now that have kind of made your life quite a bit harder as a 262 pilot. And honestly, I wouldn't even really know. I barely take out the 262s into RRB anymore. I mostly just play the 262 with the 50mm in GFRB, as well as the event A2A because it carries a bomb. I do quite like them. They are a bit slow to accelerate, given that they have early jet engines. There's some decent engine retention. The guns tend to be all mounted in nose, so they are quite accurate, although they are also quite slow, especially the MK108s. They are very, very slow, so you have to lead a lot or get very close to the enemy. You used to be able to go pretty close. You used to be able to turn fight some stuff. Honestly, these days I'm not even that sure anymore. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, well, the meta's changed a lot since I've played the 262s. It's been a really long time back from when I used to play the A1 years and years and years ago. But yeah, the 262, from what I remember, is decently versatile. Also has some very snazzy camouflages on this one here.
Oh yes, you do. Holy crap, that's very artistic.
It's very artistic, as one might say.
Can you try and pronounce that name though?
No, I cannot.
ME262A1A Frühlingsschwalbe.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, lads. I think it is about time we do something special. Something we have never done before. What? So, in case you're unaware, we're currently streaming to 2 platforms at the same time. We're streaming to YouTube at 1440p with a bit of a delay between the stream and the chat. And we're also streaming to Twitch at the same time, which has a much faster chat response and a couple of interesting options, like, for example, running polls. What kind of poll could we run? How about we let chat decide a German vehicle to play?
Oh, that could be fun, yes. What do you think?
Kugelblitz. No. Kugelblitz. Okay, everyone, if you want to participate in the voting and decide what German vehicle we play next, head over to twitch.tv/warthunder. We are going to run a poll in the chat, and the winner of that poll will win. So give me just a second whilst I set this up. And in the meantime, Tom, can you maybe read some comments here?
Read some comments? I can certainly try to read. I know some words. Let's see. Give us some questions. What do we got? We're seeing a lot of E100 in the chat. That could be fun.
It could. Shall we put that as an option as well?
Yeah, I think so. What new nation would you like to have in War Thunder? I'm really not sure. I don't really know a lot about other nations' vehicles like that. For a... I don't know, really. I don't know what... I know what I'd kind of answer in terms of, that'll be cool. Like nations I think would be cool, but actually functional and full of vehicles, I don't really know. Czechoslovakia would have a lot of vehicles. I think that would be kind of interesting in terms of like being varied. So they'd have a lot of German vehicles, some Allied vehicles mixed up. But for the game, I don't know if that would really parallel that well. But there'd be lots of interesting vehicles there, which could be kind of cool. But really, I don't know. I'm not sure what nation I'd have. Maybe a nation sort of a mixed minor nations. That could be interesting, and they could have the best examples from different nations, that kind of thing. But I'm not sure, really, personally.
Okay, lads, one last reminder. We are going to do a chat poll on twitch.tv/warthunder where you can vote what we play next. The vote is starting now. Check the top of your Twitch chat. There should be an option, a drop-down box where you can vote for the vehicle that you want to see. Now, I am not saying that we should force Tom to play the Kugelegg.
No.
But we should totally play the Kugelegg.
No. We should not.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I can make it worse.
No, don't.
I will make it worse.
Don't put your face on it. Don't put your face on it.
Yes.
No, don't.
Yes. 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 See, I don't know. I don't even know if it's worse like this or like that.
I don't want to know.
No.
I'm gonna turn away from you now.
This is what we could be playing. This is the Kugelegg.
This is the worst time.
Commandant Folletti, no, we don't have Twitch drops enabled for this just yet. Hopefully in the future we will actually be able to enable those on a broader basis.
Perhaps.
Hi, War Thunder on PS5? Maybe. I haven't asked our devs, but it would very much surprise me if we didn't have War Thunder PS5. I mean, it makes sense. We have War Thunder on Xbox, we have War Thunder on PS4, we have War Thunder on PC, we have it on pretty much all the platforms.
Yeah.
Next, we need War Thunder on Tamagotchi.
Do we?
Yes. Instead of Tamagotchis, you have to take care of your Panzer IV.
That sounds quite sweet, actually.
It actually does. Like I would generally like that, actually.
Like, I mean, that started as a meme, but I'm actually, I can buy into that.
Business ideas with MikeGoesBoom.
Certainly.
Yes. Instead of feeding the Panzer, you give it oil. You
I suppose.
unrust the tracks. You caress the side skirts.
No, you don't do that. This is a family-friendly stream. I'll have you know.
War Thunder on PC when? Chimpo, never. War Thunder's never coming to PC.
Suppose so.
Game Boy only. And the vote has finished. Oh boy, this is quite the lead here. Well, chat has decided between the options of Hermann, the German Sherman, Sturmpanzers, the 150mm cannons, the Kugelegg, the Kugelegg, and the Maus/E100. The Maus/E100 has won. So,
let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. Now, we're actually going to show you how to build a decent lineup. Consider this a bit of a guide here in this regard. Tom, do you want to do it or do I want to do it? Because I haven't done the lineup yet.
I mean, you can do it as you go, I suppose.
Okay, I'm going to try. This is probably going to go horribly wrong, but we are going to try. So, we are going to be adding a lineup. How about we name this Mouse House? Very nice. Very nice. And let's see. The Maus and D100 are both battle rating 7.7 vehicles. D100, of course, being a lot rarer. This is a termed vehicle. I believe it's also on the marketplace, although it is quite rare and quite hard to obtain. They are both pretty similar vehicles. They pretty much have the same turret, same gun. The major differences between the two is that the Maus has a higher power-to-weight ratio, but a worse turning ability, as well as a lower top speed. This tank is limited to only 20 kilometers per hour, whereas the E100 can actually go over double the speed, the top speed that the Maus can, and actually turns pretty well. The hull actually turns a bit faster than the Maus, but it also struggles a bit more with slopes. So we're actually going to put them both in our lineups, because we might as well. And what kind of supporting vehicles would you recommend here in this case, Tom?
Well, at 7.7, you've got a couple of decent options. You have the Leopard 1 and this one, which name I won't try and pronounce.
Can you hover over it again? Die Raketenjagdpanzer 2.
Perfect. So these vehicles, well, at least the rack, as I will call it to annoy you, is pretty niche. It's a niche vehicle in terms that it's not really very versatile. You can't use it effectively out of cover or in head-to-head combat, but it's a vehicle that works when the other vehicles don't. So if you're in an up tier, maybe you're not on a map where the Maus doesn't work, the 100 doesn't work, and the Leopard 1 doesn't work, this is a vehicle that will work very well in up tiers. You can always use it behind cover. So in that sense, the armor will never let it down because you can never rely on the armor anyway, really. But you can always fire behind cover, and you also have decent mobility. So a vehicle like this is really, really good for those up tiers where you can play a little bit more defensively, take this vehicle out, and then maybe take out an aircraft afterwards as well. But also to complement this, you need a bit more of a workhorse, which would be the Leopard 1 in this scenario, or the M48 at 7.0. They both work decently well. They're maybe not amazingly good in up tiers out of cover because the armor isn't hugely reliable, but for what they are, they're versatile, decently mobile, and decent guns. And for that, pretty good. So these are other options that are really good to have in the lineup. I haven't played the Leopard for a while, but I remember some pretty good games in this thing. It's a vehicle that is quite easy to misplay, in my opinion, because when you're going through the tree, it's quite an iconic vehicle and you might get it and probably be taken aback a bit by the mobility. It's very, very fast. You might be tempted to drive right into the battle and engage on the front lines, and that's not really where it works best. The armor isn't really amazing, but this thing is very, very quick, it has a very good gun, and it has a rangefinder as well, and you can very well use this thing as a sniper, be a bit more passive with it, and that's really where this thing works, at least in my experience, most consistently, is playing it a bit more defensively like that. As really, it has a lot of attributes that work in that favor. The Sabo at long range is easy to aim, and you have the heat as well, you have the rangefinder to make that work, and you have the mobility to easily duck in and out of sight, reposition around ridges, hills, that kind of thing. So the Leopard is a decent versatile machine, but maybe it's not great on the front lines or too close to enemies, pretty much.
We have a question in the chat. What is the plural of mouse? Well, Mäuse. I mean, it depends, really. Like, can you even do a plural of a tank that was named after a certain animal? Like, do you say... I mean, for the Tiger, you just say Tiger. Mehrere Tiger. Can you do the same for the mouse? I don't know, actually. It's a good question.
Who knows? Not me.
Not us. Not us at all. Anyways, lads, as per the request of the Twitch chat, we are going to be bringing out the mouse and E100. And we are actually not in a full up tier. 180 SP, this should be a 8.3 battle, I believe.
I think so, yep.
It might be. Okay, now the question is, where do we go?
Well,
you want to spawn on the right side, maybe?
I think, yes, we should try and be a bit closer out in the open, and in the hills of the left side, it might not be the best. So I think we should probably position ourselves around the middle of the map is where I would go here.
Okay. Oxy is bringing out the E100. I'm going to be bringing out the mouse, so we have a bit of both, really. And I'm guessing as a comparison, really, between the mobility differences between the two. The mouse is... I mean, this is just like a giant rolling bunker, essentially. It is thick. It is extremely heavy. This thing weighs, I believe, over 188 tons.
I think that's
thereabouts.
right, yeah.
Let me actually double check. Yeah, 188 tons versus the 150 tons of the E100. I mean, how the hell did the E100 manage to save 30 tons? It has the same turret. It's the side skirts. I mean, those are some very aerodynamic side skirts, I have to say.
Oh, yes, they are. So it's a very nice looking tank. I really, really like it for that. Yeah, the E100 definitely is faster on roads and down hills. It can accelerate a bit faster, or at least reach higher speeds than the Maus. And that's really the only difference regarding the hull. I mean, it's kind of arguable whether the hull is actually better armored, really. In some instances it is, in some instances it isn't. Directly from the side, it's a little bit weaker through the drive wheels, but from the front, I believe it's a little bit stronger, from what I remember. Same as the lower plate as well.
So, I mean, honestly, in most cases, people know how to deal with this kind of vehicles. You mostly want to be aiming right for the front of the turret whenever the gun is aiming at you, because then you only have like 220, 240 millimeters of armor to go through. And it's much easier to go through that than through the very angled, very thick hull plate. If you get things from the sides, though, I mean, you can do some nasty things to the side skirts of that E100. You can actually completely shoot it off, exposing a rather vulnerable... side hull plate. Whereas on the mouse, you can't really shoot off I mean, it's part of the structure. It's just well done. The entire side skirt is the tank. You can't shoot us off. So slight advantage there, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, there are certain vehicles that don't really have a chance to get through the side of the Maus. I believe it's 160 is the weakest point of the armor on the side. Maybe 120 on the lower side. I can't remember. Around there. But for the 100, when you knock the side skirts off or get shot through the drive wheels, I believe the side armor is only around 120 millimeters. So there are certain weaker vehicles that can definitely get through. So it is weaker in that regard. But in terms of the mobility and the way the hull can actually maneuver, it's a little bit better like that. But pros and cons for either side. It's not objectively better or objectively worse. It has its own weaknesses and advantages, so pretty good for a vehicle like that. So, let's see what we can do. It seems like there's not a lot of action in the middle here, which is actually kind of unusual for this map. You usually get a lot of action down the B side or the route between the two spawns.
I mean, the side towards the enemy spawn is looking a bit vacant right now. We have a few tanks over there, but I wouldn't really trust that too well. And it seems like we have a lot of enemies actually on the far western sides, over on that big long hallway. Now, the problem with the Maus and the E100, both of them really is that they take quite a while to get into position. And once you're in a position, you can't really change position very easily or quickly. So I'm guessing what we should actually do here is actually split up a little bit, stay within the same areas. Oxy is going to be watching the western side. I'm going to see if I can stop any potential straggles coming in from the eastern spawn towards the B cap. Keep in mind, we don't have to cap all 3 points. As long as we can hold the B point and the C point, we can win this by points. Really, the most important thing right now is that we don't lose too many teammates. We already have lost 2. The enemy has also lost 2, but they haven't left the match yet. So we are definitely in a numbers disadvantage right now. This might be a bit of an issue in the future.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. One way I personally like to play these vehicles is by loading smoke for the secondary gun, because it fires incredibly quickly. It's an analog of the gun found on the early Panzer IVs, the 75mm, and you can fire off smoke on a good crew around every, I think it's around 3 seconds or so. So for being defensive and for smoking out enemy positions, this thing can be really, really effective. And for blocking off sight lines, that kind of thing, you can really...
I sadly got one shot by the anti-gem of a warrior, which I sadly did not see there, capping the B cap. So, Tom, it is all up to you now.
Oh no. Let's see.
The warrior is moving towards where I died, so at least he's moving away from you. But do keep an eye out. You can't really react too well there.
Yeah, that's true. This thing's reaction times is definitely not its strong suit. So, let's see. I believe it might be engaging the T10 over there. Let's see what we've got. Yes, he is.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I mean, it's a bit of an overkill using the 128mm cannon against a very thinly armored warrior, but, you know, if it does the trick, it does the trick, really.
Yes, I believe so, and I think I've got something coming up the rear. So let's prepare ourselves for that.
Oh no. If you can hold on just a little bit longer, I have just spawned into my Leopard. I'm going to try and provide some support. The E100 and Leopard combo is actually pretty damn good. You have the high penetration of the Leopard and the mobility versus the sluggishness of the Maus and E100. And you can really actually compensate for each other's weaknesses pretty well. The Maus and E100 can tank shots pretty well, whereas the Leopard really can't, but it can get around the flanks and do some damage against enemies that are trying to go for the 100 Maus.
Yeah, it parallels the lineup in a pretty decent way, and it gives it a bit more bulk, I guess, in terms of actual playstyles you can use. Because there are certain maps really where these heavy vehicles just won't work, and vice versa. On some of the more close-range urban maps, there are vehicles, well, things like the Leopard aren't that great in terms of those actual engagements, just because, you know, at close range, you can't really use the mobility very well. It's going to take a while to get your way into the map. So heavy tanks like that will work a lot better in that regard. So it does add a really important playstyle to that lineup.
Some of you astute viewers might have noticed in the battle chat, but I am straight up not having a good time. Sadly, I was leaving the spawn. I got killed by that Barugan, which, well, those rockets are pretty nasty, especially when you're on a Leopard with barely any armor. But, you know what? It's actually, I have to take this as an opportunity. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it was a sign for me to take out the Kugelegg.
Oh.
And speaking of egg, is causing physical pain to Tom, especially when he's getting overrun by an AML-90. Not good.
Not the egg business. I mean, the egg business is This is not what I need in my life right now. I need less eggs in my life.
Oh god, this is terrifying. I'm so sorry.
You should be. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Again, like I mentioned in the last stream, these are scare tactics. This is psychological warfare. If you scare the enemy into submission, they won't shoot at you. Or at least it will take a while longer to shoot at you.
Are you quite sure that's how it works?
Pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean, I get so many angry messages on Reddit and private messages of people just being scared of this that, you know, there has to be something behind us, perhaps.
I suppose maybe I just don't want to look at it anymore. It makes me feel things.
See, it is working.
I suppose so. I mean, yeah, I'll take that.
Now, Tom, can you perhaps give me some support here over on the B cap?
I can certainly give it a go.
I do have a decent amount of penetration with the 30mm cannon, 95mm.
Okie dokie.
But I'm not sure if that's going to be enough, really.
See if you can track that chieftain.
I will try, although he is looking at me very angrily.
Okay, oh, I hit the cupola. A shame.
Not good. I think he fired. He got my cannon. He got my turret ring.
Okay,
Able to play
could
around
be
that.
worse.
I'm going to try and see if I can take his can down or something, although I am in need of repairs right now.
Okay, it doesn't look like he's that interested in you anymore.
Okay, good. I'm going to take this time to repair. See if we can at least get his engine or something. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't crash, mate.
Safe.
I'm actually going to drop an arty shell over here. We have a teammate flanking around the backside of the chieftain.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll be able to support me here.
Okay, he's got another chum. Coming up. What is that?
My repair is almost done.
French.
Where did he go? I think he retreated, actually.
Let's have a look. I can't see him at the moment. He may be in the smoke.
I think he's by our friendly Kampfpanzer M41.
Yeah. He's taking one of the back roads. One of the back roads. I don't know what accent that is. To attack this bulldog here. Yep,
Oh
there
no!
it goes.
No! 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 My light tank body was flanked by a Chieftain Mark III. That is not something you want to see. Actually, it was not even the... Interesting, it wasn't even the Chieftain that was brawling there. It was an MX-50, which I just get from behind as well. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Ooh, I have more enemies around here. Tom, I need someone to hug.
T-32.
Help!
I'm
Save.
a-coming. So he's coming your way. I would try and retreat.
Is he going left or right? Is he going for the cap?
Directly down the road, not into the cap towards you. So I'd hug that
Okay.
corner if you can.
I am going to go for the cap, perhaps. Like, if I can just get his side and see if I can get his cannon barrel, I should be able to deal with him. The problem is just, if I hit him from the front, there's not much I can really do. Keep an eye out, there's a helicopter. I'll just try and get that.
There's a
There we go.
Spitfire
Helicopters
as
now.
well. That's not good for me.
Ooh, interesting noises.
Very interesting noises.
Whereabouts is the T-34 right now?
I'm trying to juggle this Spitfire at the moment.
If you need some help, you can actually try and fly over me, although I'm not sure how long I will still be alive for.
Okie dokie.
Oop!
Oh, loud.
It's fine, I got his cannon barrel, and I got his track, and I got his other track. I got both his tracks and the cannon barrel.
That works.
I'm going to try and see if I can do some side damage here. I am a bit weak to his 50s from the side, but I should be fine from the front.
Yeah, it should be okay.
The question is, am I able to actually go for a T-32 from the side?
I think you should, at least the back part of the armor. I can't remember exactly what it is.
I'm going to just try and set him on fire if possible.
Yeah, you should be good for that.
That way he won't be able to repair. I'm having some slight issues here though. Okay, there we go. There's a crit, there's a fire.
Okay,
Fires are good. Fires are mean that they can't repair, which is exactly what I need right now. But I'm at a bit of a pickle because I'm the only one here and I can't leave the cap, otherwise he will get the cap himself.
Okay, I'll try and come round and do some
Oh, I
damage.
killed him!
Oh,
Awesome,
very
okay.
nice.
The question is, will I stay alive long enough to be able to cap this? Or will I die?
We will see. It's part of the fun.
How's situation in the air, Tom?
Can't see anything else at the moment, although there might be something coming in soon as a fair few light vehicles have just been knocked out. Let's
This
see
is
what
not
we've
good.
got.
Our team kind of just fell apart. I mean, to be fair, the enemy team doesn't have much left right now either, but we have lost a lot of players and we have only 2 sets of tracks on the ground, so we have to play this very defensively, especially me because well, I didn't have that many spawn points left.
Oh gosh, we have an F-82 coming in if you want to do your magic.
I'm trying to locate him. I just kept a point. I'm actually going to retreat from the catcher point for now.
Okay.
If anyone comes in for the cap, I can at least try to flank him, but staying on this capture point right now would be just complete suicide.
I agree. He's above the battlefield right now, heading towards the north spawn over A.
I think I see him.
Heading 250 on my position.
Didn't quite get the lead down.
Okay, let's see if I can snipe him with the 50. I doubt I can.
I think he's trying to fly over in my direction here.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, we're not doing too badly right now, although the problem is I'm just a single Kugel egg sitting all alone in this entire area over here. I am scared.
Okay, looks like though we might be winning on tickets right now. Oh no.
Ooh, someone is on B. Someone is on B.
Okay, it's leaving the point. I think that's an M48 or a Bulldog. Bulldog I think is more likely actually.
Bulldog I can actually deal with.
Got it.
And
okay.
You got him. Very nice. Okay, so I can actually recap. Do you see anyone else around the B cap right now?
Nothing that I can see. You look pretty clear. Nope.
Very good. I should be clear to at least try and recap this. Right now, I am completely relying on Tom over here. I have no other teammates around this area.
Oh, no.
I am just a Kugelitz. Oh no!
That's a York.
Tom got taken down by the Sergeant York. I'm guessing he must have mistaken you with a latrine.
Oh, a topical meme. Very nice. I'll
Yes!
take that. That's a good
Did
one.
you like that one?
That's a good one. I'll take that.
Alright, hopefully I will be able to cap this before the enemy comes in force. But I'm certainly not feeling so confident anymore. Tom is bringing out another Arado.
I'll see if I can get a very lucky bomb on that York. I don't know though. It
That
depends if he
might
has-
be risky. The York does have fuse shells,
Yeah.
which means that he doesn't need to hit it directly. If he gets close enough to you, he can do a lot of damage. And are you surviving, Tom?
I'm not surviving.
You got a hole in
Oh,
one
but
of your
I
wings, but you got them
got both.
both. Very nice.
Okay, we should be golden now. There's only 2 left, and not a lot of tickets.
I'm just going to sit over in this corner over here and wait for anyone to come. We are just about to win on tickets here. Come on. Ticket bleed work in our favor. 24 tickets, and there we go.
Very nice.
Somehow able to get to top position here. Oxy in 3rd place. That is a best squad right there, and some very decent gameplay. Team play, I should say.
Team play. Yes.
See, when you can play with a buddy and you have the advantage of having an eye in the sky, you can really do quite a bit of damage, and that was a carry. That was absolutely a carry.
A nice game.
Very nice game. And I think this is about the time that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this War Thunder official stream. We are your hosts, MikeGoesBoom and...
Me.
Yes, me. Check them out on sites that I shouldn't recommend on a PG-13 stream. I just said that. Let us know on social media, what did you think of the stream? What can we do better? What did we do badly? How did you enjoy the stream? All the good stuff. Hopefully we should be able to stream again next week. Stay tuned for that. And anything else you want to say, Tom?
It's just my mind is just full of eggs. Let's just go. I can't. Like whenever you ask me that, that's just what it goes to every time. It's a nightmare.
Well, that is just fine. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the War Thunder official stream with MikeGoesBoom and Tom. Thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.